You're listening to The Front Porch Show. Some shows are niche shows, talking about specific topics. Others, shows about nothing. This show is the show about everything. On The Front Porch Show, we'll talk about current events, some news, a little bit of politics, along with a whole lot of life. Welcome to our Front Porch. 1-402-799-1811. If you would like to reach out to The Front Porch Show, you may call the number at any time. Too much energy?
Was that an NPR?
No, just I wasn't sure.
You know what else is bad? Speaking of NPR, is
speaking of NPR, you know what else is bad?
NPR is bad. But have you listened to like classical radio? They do the same thing.
I know.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's that
you're listening to Fugue in D minor.
They need to call it the oh shoot, who's that guy with the paintings?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. It needs to be like Bob Ross syndrome or something.
Ooh.
Bob Ross.
Or it's like
Bob Ross does have
Bob Ross is just completely stoned. I mean,
he does have energy, but it is
energy, but it's
slow. But I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, it
puts you to
stoned
sleep.
energy. It's absolutely
stoned energy.
Yes.
You're right. That's a good way to explain.
It's like he's very amped, but then it's like, but chill. Drawing the happy little leaves on the trees.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
There are no accidents, just happy.
Just
no
happy
mistakes, just happy little
accidents. Mm-hmm.
The audience is like, we have no idea what in the world you guys are talking about.
Happy little accidents, like when Mathis completely screwed up the opening to this show.
I apologize,
by not recording our first opening,
It's true.
which was pretty good. It was better than his NPR bit.
It was better, but you know, Ozzy, are those Batman glasses?
I don't want to talk about it.
Dude,
I cannot reveal my secret identity.
Can we get Derry Merbles on the
Bruce.
show?
Oh man!
So, what are your thoughts?
Ben,
what are your
you're
thoughts?
supposed to talk like this when you have those on.
What are your thoughts on sparkling vampires becoming Batman? What are your thoughts?
That
No.
sounds terrible. I only accept one Batman, and that Batman is Christian Bale.
You see, he was pretty good. He was pretty good.
And that Batman is Michael Keaton. No, I don't know.
No, no.
I have opinions about that, but I can't say it on the show.
Didn't even like that one. Like, okay,
No,
so
Christian Bale is the only Batman I really acknowledge. I can't do Affleck.
yeah, what in the world? Why?
Dude, they screwed up his thing so badly, though.
I
But
get really frustrated with and it seems to be DC Comics always does this. They always introduce new people as the character. I don't get it.
Okay, that's because they can't keep anybody because their stories suck.
Okay, so I watched for the first time.
Terrible.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, and I've never seen it. I watched it for the cultural experience. Was Lonesome Dove.
That means there's something horribly questionable about this.
I mean, there is.
Or it was just boring. Or it was just boring as heck.
Cultural experience,
so it was,
aka don't let your kids watch it.
It was a great.
It's very adult.
It was a great movie. Let me just say there are working girls in it. Not in an inappropriate fashion necessarily, but the way they refer to them is definitely in a colorful fashion, and they seem to like them a lot. But the movies with Robert Duvall and with Tommy Lee Jones.
It makes it sound 10 times worse than it is.
Does. It really does.
It really
does.
And
it was like a 20-second segment in the middle of the movie, and that was it. And that's what.
No. It's every 5 minutes they're talking about him. Yeah.
Cultural experience.
Yep.
Math is all about that culture.
And get right. No, not that culture.
I thought it was all about the bass.
There you go. Thank you. So, anyways, I'm watching this movie. It's a solid movie. I'm like, oh, I wonder if they did a sequel or something, because it seems like there should be a sequel afterwards. Well, they did, but they replaced the main character Tommy Lee Jones with John Voight.
I don't know who John Voight is.
He is.
You do.
Yeah, you do. It's what's her face's daddy. Angelina Jolie's daddy.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks shocked, like he'd come up with a face from that, and he got it.
I'll just say he doesn't know who John Voight is, but he knows it from that.
Yeah.
Well, I know it from that because wasn't he in he was in Tomb Raider like as her dad.
Was he? I don't remember that.
I'm
no
pretty
kidding.
sure, yeah.
I mean, he's
funny.
been in a lot of stuff, obviously, but I didn't.
I remember the first time I ever heard of John Voight was on the Seinfeld show.
He's also in National Treasure.
When
he's in a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. When Costanza buys John Voight's convertible, it was sold to him as John Voight's convertible, and that's how it was sold. This is John Voight's convertible. Well, it's not the John Voight. It was John Voight's convertible. And so, he's like, I'm driving John Voight's convertible. And
that's the first you heard of John Voight.
Yes. First ever I heard of John Voight. And that was back in the early 90s or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah,
this man's 81 years old.
Is he? No kidding. Is he still acting now?
Sure.
He was also in Enemy of the State. He was the bad guy in Enemy of the State.
Let's call him up and find out.
He's one of Hollywood's most outspoken conservatives.
Yeah,
which is interesting. Him and of all people, Vince Vaughn, which is interesting. Clint Eastwood.
Charlton Heston. Oh wait, he's dead. No.
Ooh, Charlton Heston.
The guy in charge of the NRA.
Yes,
he's not a Republican.
He apparently is still acting because he's got a movie coming out.
No kidding.
In 2020.
Cool. I mean, he's a decent actor. I've enjoyed his acting.
Wow.
Wasn't sure.
Apparently he's also in a movie called Roe versus Wade.
The question is, have you read Lonesome Dove?
I have not read Lonesome Dove, and I want to after seeing the movie.
Oh, okay. Dude. By the way,
was the movie one of those cultural experiences that like doesn't make sense to the average movie watcher, like No Country for Old Men?
No, it was. You could come into this and watch this, and it would be solid.
Or Ad Astra. Let me tell you.
Because I tried to watch No Country for Old Men since it's so popular, and it just didn't. Tombstone loves it.
I know.
It just didn't speak to me.
I have it in my. I have it in my collection.
I get it's a classic. It didn't speak to me.
Again, Tommy Lee Jones is in it.
Yes, which I mean, I like actor, Tommy Lee Jones, but it much more flowing. It was a movie. It's a Western made in the 80s, 87, 88, I think it was released, and it was direct to TV. It was a 4-part series, direct to TV. So it's like 14 hours long.
It's 8 hours long, I think, total. I mean, it's not a movie; it's a series.
Yeah, it's a series.
You're watching a miniseries, and it's a great story. The story is a great story.
So there is a solid story.
Oh yeah, there's a solid story to it, and that's enjoyable. As I said, the only issue I took issue with, I think it was the only thing, was the working girls, and.
That's because Mathis is sexist and he can't stand women in the workplace.
Oh my goodness! Wait, what? Wait. Jeff.
Is that not what you mean by working girls? I don't understand the reference.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's weird.
Women had jobs on the assembly line.
Okay, moving on.
Can you explain to me why you don't like women working? I'm confused.
Like Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah.
Do we need to have a segment of Jeff Explains?
Building.
I don't think I'm gonna touch that one.
Guys, I finally watched Midway last night.
We know.
Yeah, I saw you knocking it.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It was a good movie.
Know what you're talking about.
It was a good movie.
It is not even remotely comparable to Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
It was a good movie, but I felt with the CGI it was a comic book.
That's because you went into it as biased as possible against the CGI.
No,
you did.
I do not like the bad CGI.
You so did.
The CGI was not top of the line, but it was not horrendous.
It was fine.
It stunk.
You stink.
It was bad, guys.
You don't know what you're talking about.
It was
You're
fine.
sleep
It was
deprived.
not. It was not like when Lord of the Rings first came out, or like Avatar levels.
I'll have to say,
but
I'll have to say that Lord of the Rings actually the CGI.
Okay,
if you
Lord of
go
the
back
Rings
and
was
watch
better.
It, it's
Yeah.
actually
it's
really
held,
For the time.
it's held up
still.
really well.
Yeah.
It was done really well, and
Yes.
so no, Midway did not approach that level.
Which frustrated me because we are 25 years later.
But I think there was so much more of it necessary.
The entire like most of the movie, probably 80% of the movie is CGI.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
What did
and
you
that-
want them to do? Did you want them to build the destroyers
It's
and
a
aircraft carriers?
little expensive to build an aircraft carrier for a movie. I'm just saying.
There's this thing called I realize it's shocking to you guys.
Computer
There's this thing called
graphics?
miniatures.
Yeah, it does work. Some Star Wars, obviously, like when
Star
they
Wars,
got
Star
back to that
Trek.
from the CGI.
Do you know what? Do you know what you're gonna find out? You're gonna find out that they used miniatures, and the stuff that you don't like is actually
Is actually
scenes
miniatures.
with the miniatures. That's what you're gonna
probably
find out.
true.
Oh no, man!
That's
There was
probably
there
true.
was one scene where
That's
they're
what
like
you're gonna find out.
they come up on the bow of the boat, and like from the bow, the camera shot comes up the bow of the boat and up onto the deck, and the water is just completely still under the boat, and then there's waves coming up at the edge of the where the bow cuts in.
This is what
It's
he's
totally
concerned about.
it's totally
I don't-
it's totally
Right.
unbelievable.
Right.
Totally
right.
unbelievable.
Yep,
And I'm like,
Yeah, it wasn't.
fact that-
It's because it wasn't enough of a cultural experience for him
that's
to
right.
care.
There weren't enough women working in that show because it was back in the 40s before it was early in the war, so the women weren't working yet.
Yep.
So
you're
Rosie the
gonna get
Riveter-
us you're
Rosie
gonna
the
get us
Riveter
kicked
wasn't
off the
out
air.
yet.
You're gonna get us kicked
So,
off the air when I'm talking about.
That's-
No, I can't say the
What are you
word.
talking about? Jeff is talking about women working, man. What are you talking
Yes.
about? You're the one that's taking it to inappropriate levels.
We've
got-
got him backed in such a
I
corner.
know it's horrible.
amazing.
It's amazing. I look.
He can't defend himself
Slow
without
clap.
getting in trouble.
Slow
It's
clap.
So good. It's so good.
All I can do is give the slow clap because it's that good.
So speaking of cultural experiences, I watched The Hunt last night.
What movie is that? Like,
So that's the one that actually got delayed in its release because everyone got up in arms about it after like a shooting, because it's the one
Oh,
where
that's
these
right.
people and like these conservatives get like kidnapped by this group of elite liberals, and the liberals like hunt them at this like private manor
Okay.
or whatever.
sounds like a great movie. Jeff,
It
thank you
was-
for taking one for the show.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think as I texted you guys, it's hard to tell because obviously the movie's made by like Hollywood elites, so you're wondering like why'd they make it this way. There was actually like when the movie got over and we just let it go through the credits, there was like a 5-minute blurb about like the making of the movie or whatever. And it appears that the people who made it, their point kind of was either you just ignored it all and it was this weird movie where people hunt people and it is what it is, or you like looked at that and you were like, this is like how fractured we are politically. It looks like they intentionally took the caricatures of both sides that both sides believe about each other, and put them into the movie as like, this is what would happen if these caricatures got played out to the extreme. I don't know. I don't know what to think, because a lot of times I end up approaching a movie like that with like, all right, what's the weird hidden message here? So I don't know. It's probably not worth your time. We got out of the red box because, believe it or not, that was about the only option in Redbox that was even worth
What was that movie?
renting. But it wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible.
Oh, there
I'm
was
not really sure what the point of it was.
there was a very similar movie a couple years ago, 2011. It was God Bless America,
Never
where
even heard of that.
it
one.
was.
Yeah, you got me on
I
that.
watched it once. It's with Joel Murray. It's Bill Murray's brother. And anyways, they went around. It was basically vigilante justice. It was political satire.
Well, it's like all
where,
the Purge movies.
Right, and that's pretty much what this was. And they went through. Basically, they were eliminating people who were being rude and nasty in pop culture, TV, the internet, talk radio, all that.
So China.
And
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Hey
they-
guys, don't insult China, because China passed a law that if you basically say anything to insult them or support Hong Kong, that's against the law now in China for anyone in the world to do that.
Oh.
So,
Hong Kong or China, excuse me. I hope
Better watch
Hong
out.
Kong cedes and leaves you, and they become freer than
Secedes.
Americans.
for a guy
Secedes.
who
I'm sorry.
claims to be this,
Secedes.
like, the
Sorry,
South will
sorry.
rise again, he can't
I
even
was
get
try-
the
I was-
darn
look,
word
I
right
was-
that led to the whole Civil War.
Where's the Jeff
trying to,
explains the word? Where's that? 'Cause
I was
that's
trying
seed.
to, yeah.
I don't know. Are they growing a garden? I don't know what's going on.
No,
I
no,
hope
no,
Hong Kong seeds. Okay, cool.
Seeding.
They're gonna be the 12th seed in this tournament. I don't know.
Hey, speaking of which, sports is back.
Is
MLS is back. Yes, it is. It's
What is
super
that?
awkward to watch.
What is that?
Major League Soccer.
Oh, that's a sport.
There we go. We got there. I was gonna make the joke for Mathis, even though I like soccer. I was gonna be like, oh, never mind. Okay.
Are they back? What's the are they actually playing right now, or
Yeah, they are actually. They started on Wednesday night.
Are they playing
was-
with empty
was the
stadiums?
first-
Because
yes.
that just doesn't seem like soccer.
Yes, they are.
so are they pumping in the
so
Venezuela noises?
They're not, and it's super bad. Like, it's terrible. So they're at Disney. They're the same place the NBA is.
Well,
whatever
that sounds
is.
safe.
So there's the same place. So the NBA is playing inside of their dome, and then there are soccer fields outside. It's like the ESPN Wide World of Sports,
Right, the
arenas
complex
or
there.
whatever
Okay.
it is. Yeah, but the fields aren't made for like professional games and like recording and lighting and everything else. So they have to like jerry rig all of this stuff to make it work. So it's like these back-to-back stadiums, like you would see like in a giant sports complex just anywhere, where it's like you would have like 12 teams playing at once. But they have one team playing, empty stadium, and then there's like makeshift lights and stuff like that so they can light it during the night. And then the camera angles are a little bit off because, again, it's not set up to do that normally. And there's no noise. And so you can hear all the soccer players like cursing at the ref and everything else. And apparently, as of last night, they started bleeping it out as they're doing it. So that way you don't get offended because there's no crowd noise to cover any of the talking or anything. So that's what we have to look forward in football. Just wait.
Well, that's a pretty crazy
coming.
complex they've got there.
It's coming. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. It's
Like
huge.
I'm looking at it via
It's
satellite here, and it
huge.
is.
So yeah, so they started back. So they're officially back, which is exciting and kind of anticlimactic. So
just to go back and clarify,
You have now joined the part of the show where Jeff explains a word. Welcome to Jeffomology.
jury-rigged. It's actually a nautical term that goes back to Middle English and has nothing to do with the jury of the courtroom. Jury meaning improvised for temporary use, especially in an emergency, and rigged meaning manipulating or controlling something, kind of like Hillary Clinton indicates that the 2016 election was actually rigged.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate that.
Anytime.
now I'm completely thrown off everything.
Yeah, I don't even
I know,
remember
we
what
gotta
we're
go
talking
back.
about.
We
Where
gotta
were
go
we?
back and find our spot.
Oh no, so I was
Sport.
we were talking about the worldwide
So like
sport.
we said,
Wide world of sports.
it's not jerry-rigged because the Germans didn't rig it. Okay.
That's a good point. Very good points. Where the heck is that? I'm looking at
It's
it.
in
on-
it's in Orlando.
It's in Orlando. I know that part.
Not the one in California, the one in Florida.
How
World,
big?
not land.
How big is the one in California? Is that big?
It's not as big.
No, interesting.
No, and apparently the castle is quite disappointing comparative to Disney World's castle.
So Obviously, you guys know, but the audience doesn't know. We spent a couple days in the hospital this week with the birth of our. Just hold on. Just hold on. With the birth of our third.
You just killed half the audience with that whiplash.
I know.
Where's my neck brace?
God.
And so hold on. So while we were burning time, we had the Discovery Channel on some really lame show that was looking at satellite images from across the world and coming up with, complete ludicrous, observations.
Is this a Nebraska hospital thing?
Were you partaking in your wife's pain meds
No.
from the birth, and you guys were watching all of this?
No. Because the hospitals can only afford one channel in Nebraska.
It was the Discovery Channel. It was some investigative show about looking at satellite.
It was PBS, which is NPR on TV.
China has built a whole bunch of weird world icon places.
Wait a minute.
In China.
Did you tap into the NSA spy camera network or
No.
something?
We've gone from brushing over the fact that Mathis had a third kid to
we're not going to acknowledge
watching a random channel to China has built world icon places.
That's what that was on the TV. Okay, so the Eiffel Tower, they've built an Eiffel Tower. They've built other crazy things.
So is this so that when they control their own people, they can say no, all of that only exists in China and not in these other countries? Like when you see pictures online, if one happens to slip through the Eiffel Tower, it's like, no, that's here in China.
Nah, I don't know.
If one slips through of the wall on the Mexico border, they can say, no, that's here in China. Oh, wait, they already have the wall.
Oh, speaking of walls, you know what I bet they have? I bet they have a Berlin Wall that hasn't fallen. Aaron, why don't you jump
They
on
do have a
over
wall.
there?
They do have a wall that hasn't
jump
fallen
on
yet.
over there and tell them that they need to tear down this wall?
Tell them you are experienced in wall tearing down and speeches about it.
Yes, and that you have presidential recommendations and 100% success rate.
I am not even going to talk about your spelling of Eiffel Tower.
Just shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
I see a bunch of dirt roads coming together.
Is it as
zoom
big
in
as,
on it.
Is it as big as the actual Eiffel Tower?
Yes, it is.
A, now Google knows where I am. B, they put the little pin right over top of it. There it is.
Yeah. It's at a military base in China.
No. You guys, you're all wrong. This is not an Eiffel Tower. Did any of you play Command and Conquer growing up? This is a Tesla coil.
Yeah.
The Chinese are experimenting
that's actually
with
where
Tesla
I was going
coils.
with. I was actually going to go with this. Yeah. So that actually will protect the complex.
So this appears to be China's urban warfare base where they are training for urban warfare because they've got a whole bunch of city scenes set up.
So now you think they're planning for an assault on the
I'm not saying
Paris
anything.
is
All
in
I'm
trouble.
saying is that it is this is their urban warfare training facility because they've got parts of the Middle East. They've got parts of
okay.
I was going to say,
American
have they
cities?
identified? Are these just
Let's talk this
barracks,
through.
or have they identified the footprints of these cities?
They are not exact footprints, but some of the buildings are direct knockoffs.
Let's talk about this.
They've got a
First
clover
off-
leaf like an interchange on an
First-
American Express
yeah.
system.
There is so if you head up to the one just straight up north from the Eiffel Tower, that is those are the state buildings in I think it's Thailand or something.
You need to listen. You were not spelling it right. It's Eiffel Tower.
I realize I spelled it wrong. It's French, dang it.
Which one? The one where they're kind of all in a square, or the one next to it with like the arc arch around it?
The one with the square. Yeah, like that. Supposedly that's like the government buildings in Thailand or something. I don't know. Like it's super weird.
And I'm sure your wife was appreciating your research into this. Well,
she's the one who turned it on. She's the one who turned on the TV. I was just there for, support.
just to catch.
Didn't have to catch this time. That was fantastic. Wednesday afternoon at 3:22, Adrian Estelle was born. 3 pounds 7 pounds 9 ounces.
3 pounds.
7 pounds. 7 pounds 9 ounces. 19 and a half inches long.
19 and a half pounds,
That's
7
exciting.
inches long. Wait.
And Jeff, just to
something's wrong
quell your
there.
curiosity, again for the third time, no pain meds
For you?
for
For
either
you?
one of us. For either one of us.
Somebody was on some sort of pain meds when you were watching that show. I'm just telling you.
Yes.
That's all I'm gonna say. Is medical marijuana legal there?
No, it is not.
Oh, okay.
It is not, and I even if it was, I probably would not partake.
So where are we going with this?
No, anyways,
I got
so
really lost
so
after we messed up that
Where
funny
are we?
segment.
so y'all were talking about the whole ESPN. I was looking at it via Google
And decided that the Chinese Eiffel
and
Tower
thought it was
worth a look?
curious that like
Yeah, maybe the Chinese are just building like a Magic Kingdom with all
They
the
already have one.
with all the cities of the world.
here's a Magic Kingdom
No, that would
1,000
be-
miles away from
Which one's that?
everything.
That would be called Epcot.
Epcot Center, that's the one. There we go.
Jeez.
The last time I was there, I was like 12.
The
not my
one of their claims is that it is a
We lost my cousin in Epcot once.
Did you ever find him?
Almost no. Me and my other cousin, we went. So we all went on. Like my grandfather took us all on vacation, and this was about when I was like about 11 or 12 years old. And so
I could have been there at the same
I
time.
have 2 other cousins that were all like within a year of each other, and so they were like, okay, 3 12-year-old boys, sure, go wandering
that
around.
seems
just
like a
don't leave-
bad idea.
just
Seems like a
Don't
genius
leave.
idea.
don't leave the park. And so we're like, all right, cool. So we went wandering, and did everything or whatever. And then we
was a
went
different time.
inside. We went inside of. They had a place that had like all these video games.
You went
consoles
on
that
the
you could
racist
play,
water slide ride,
that you could
didn't
play.
you?
No, that's not that's in Magic Kingdom.
But you went on it.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Racist.
You're right. It was fun. Anyway, but yeah, we lost my cousin.
In the video game place.
And me and my other cousin, yeah. So we were looking around for him, and we looked for like 15 minutes, and then we were finally like, oh well. And then me and my other cousin just went off.
Oh
Excellent
my
call.
goodness.
And yeah, his parents kind of freaked out at like 10 o'clock at night when the park was closing, and nobody
And
knew where my
where'd
other
we find
cousin
him?
was.
Where was he?
He was waiting for his parents at a restaurant that they apparently said that they were all going to meet at.
So he
Didn't
was
tell-
the only one doing.
Didn't tell me or my other cousin what was going on, and just left. This was before cell phones too. Like,
But
none of
he
us had
was-
cell phones.
But he was in the right place, and everyone was freaking out.
He was in the right place, and they decided that they weren't going to go to the restaurant, and then forgot to tell him because he was with us
Nice.
or couldn't, I don't know, or whatever. And so so he was like waiting there for them. But yeah, it was pretty funny. So it wasn't. I thought it was pretty funny. his mother did not think it was funny. She was flipping out. So
Oh.
That's good.
anyway, it's not my fault. It's still not my fault. We looked for him. He left us apparently. So
See,
And,
that's the
yeah,
thing. That's the
we didn't-
thing.
and then we gave it our best 10 minutes worth of looking.
You can't ask for much more out of a 12-year-old.
Anyway,
So
where are we at with this segment?
Did we talk about your birthday, or did we not talk about your birthday? I don't
we
even
haven't,
know.
not
I'm
yet.
sure.
Not yet, we haven't, but it
All right,
was
here we
good.
go. So what do you guys think? All right, so I may or may not have had a birthday this week.
Happy belated birthday?
Jeff still
Happy
doesn't know when
early
my birthday is.
I'm still confused.
I don't know when Jeff's birthday is.
I don't care when your
nobody
birthday is,
cares.
Ozzy. I don't
This is
I
my
don't care.
point. So this is my social experiment.
And Mathis's birthday was canceled by the cancel culture. So
Oh right. No one wants to acknowledge me anyways, which is probably a good thing.
It's all right. Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, anyway, so I did a social experiment. I took my birthday off of Facebook, and no one but my family wished me happy birthday. So so I think I'm just gonna keep it that
so
way.
he cried. So he cried in his room.
I did. I cried.
But
we didn't even have anything. Like I worked on my birthday. My wife worked on my
Yeah.
birthday. My kids just found out this morning that it was my birthday 2 days ago.
Oh, that's bad.
And they were like,
no, that's
they
bad.
were like, and they were like, where's the cake? We didn't have cake and ice cream.
and that was their
what
biggest
they're
concern is
concerned
they didn't
about.
get
Yes.
cake. Yes,
That's what
yes.
they're concerned about is there was no cake or ice cream or any kind of celebration. So
Oh man, it is. Yeah, old
Sorry.
age. It's like, well, it's my birthday.
I know.
I
And then,
Go
it's
to
like, and then
work.
it's like, what do you want? I'm like, yeah, I would like this, $1,500 thing that I know we can't buy.
Yep.
That's exactly
the
what I
problem.
would want.
Exactly. It's like I don't want anything that's cheap enough for anyone
Right.
to afford to buy me.
Right.
And if it's super cheap, I'd buy it for myself if I really needed it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I don't
Yep.
need anything.
Yeah, it's like just like I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide that I'm going to get, because I do have a couple expensive things that I like, because I like watches a lot, and there's a couple expensive watches that I'm not going to put down the money
A
all at
Breitling?
once.
5-6 grand.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
So he's gonna
heck
rent
no.
one.
I cannot afford Breitling, man.
Rent a swag. He's gonna go to Rent a Swag and rent one from Tom Haverford.
So anyway, I think what I'm going to do is, instead of having gifts, I'm just going to save it up and then just buy it at Christmas and say, hey,
Happy Christmas, man.
yeah, yeah.
So what is the watch you're looking at? Since I know you can't afford a Breitling.
It's the one that I really want. It's a Manta is the brand. It's a small
I don't even know what that is.
it's a small brand. It's a micro brand. They make
That's the term now. Micro brand.
yeah, it's a micro brand. So they make watches, and there's one called the Triumph. It's the Monta Monta Triumph. It's like a $1,500 watch. It's really cool.
I mean, it's
But
a pretty watch.
Again, I'm gonna have to save up for a while
I was gonna say
to
the most.
get that.
That's more
not
than
a
I've spent for most of cars.
That's not
that
a
I own.
Christmas. Yeah, that's not a Christmas gift. That's probably a someday way off, far off gift.
That's
so.
all our kids finally graduated college, and one of them became a millionaire.
I know.
gift.
That's kind of what I really want. So if anybody wants to just buy me that watch and send it to me,
It's nice
Do any
looking.
listeners have contacts with Manta? I mean,
I doubt it.
like
It's too plain for
I mean,
me. But
you could
like,
wear it on the show and like
But I
flash
like
it in
it.
the camera every
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yeah, that looked bad.
Are you a leather strap guy though? I like the
Um,
metal. I like metal for
it-
dress watches.
It depends. I've actually become really particular. Nobody wants to hear my watch cares. I've become very particular. So I have a watch that I like. Also, there's a watch company called Gakoda Watches. It's also another micro brand. It's actually an English thing. Oh my god, terrible person. And anyway, so they make watch straps. I'm trying to get through this here.
I'm sorry,
You
guys. I
killing me.
apologize.
Just trying to
apologize.
ignore-
I'm glad you can't see this.
Just
in
trying
the
to
group
ignore
chat.
what just happened and get through it. So, yeah, I have a metal strap that I like, but the problem with the metal straps is during the summertime, they're actually kind of bad because they don't actually have any flex in them. And
Mm.
so as your wrist flexes, and then the leather straps do the same thing.
So basically,
where
what
it's like
he
you
does
gotta
is he
kinda
gets
adjust it.
Ozzy
No,
gets
I
a
have
really
a-
expensive watch and then replaces it with like a Casio strap,
I have a
canvas,
no.
Casio canvas strap.
Oh.
Hey, I had Casio for years.
have
It was a
a-
metal band, and I loved my Casio.
My summer strap. You people are really. I can tell. My summer strap is actually sailcloth.
Oh yeah, that's nice stuff.
So canvas.
It is waterproof. Yeah, basically.
which is
So,
very appropriate for where you live.
and it's super awesome. So I can swim with it and everything, and I don't have to worry about the strap swelling or
No
taking
kidding.
out water or anything. So it's
That's pretty
great.
cool.
Anyway,
Pretty
there you go.
So I don't wish people happy birthday.
Yep, I noticed, and
Nobody-
Ozzy noticed.
Nobody
I
cares
just
about
don't.
you.
I don't. I'm just saying, Ozzy. No,
Listen, why wasn't your daughter born on my birthday? What's up
Yeah,
with that?
seriously.
So
On
it
the birthday
obviously
that we
wasn't.
don't even-
It obviously
so
wasn't
it
on
wasn't
Wednesday.
that day.
It
Okay,
obviously
good.
wasn't
We know that.
Wednesday. It wasn't Tuesday either. So
Was your
that
daughter
works.
born on Tuesday and Wednesday? How'd that work?
Son was born 5 years ago on Tuesday.
That's not the question.
Oh, so they're one day apart.
They are 1 day apart. Yeah, 1 day
Oh, that's
apart.
Wow.
great.
And then 5 years, but
We
whatever.
were really hoping, 1 day apart and 5 years. We were really hoping it wasn't going to be the same day.
Is there s-
Myron was okay with it though if it was the same day.
Is there
What?
like some? You know what you guys need to do is like, there's got to be some crazy person out there who met his wife, married her on the same day as his birthday, and her birthday just correlates as the same day as his and their wedding day, and then all of their children are born on the same day. That is how you do it. Then all you have to do is remember one date and celebrate everything.
But that's a really expensive date.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Well,
so
you just got one
unless
big
you make
cake.
unless you make it Christmas.
Ooh.
You combine everything. Okay, so my aunt, I think,
Consumer advice,
man,
right there.
I think it's my aunt was born like the day after Christmas, and the problem, no. The problem was is that they would always combine
there's
Christmas and
more.
birthday,
Wow.
and so for her it was kind of rough because
Has anybody ever not had a story like this from somebody
don't know.
that
I
they're
was gonna say
related to or
my
no?
cousin's
I've
almost the
heard
same
this-
way.
yeah,
I've heard
I know
this
someone else
story
who's born
so
on
many
Christmas. Yeah,
times
they can't
other
stand it.
people.
They can't stand it.
Yeah.
They just can't stand it.
My kids
I
are
guess I
born,
understand.
my kids are born in very close proximity to a lot of my wife's family. And so because they're all older now, like their birthdays just get completely eliminated by my kids' birthdays. It's pretty funny.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So it's like they'll be like my father-in-law's birthday is like the day before or after one of my kids.
Right.
It just
And
becomes
so-
like hand him a card during your kid's
Yeah,
birthday
it
party.
becomes yes, exactly.
Mhm,
Exactly. So it's kind of funny.
Well, we
Which-
put your name on the cake too, Dad. Like it's all good.
Which who
Here's some
cares? I mean,
socks.
I don't know. I don't really want a big to do for my birthday. I mean, I just take me out to dinner or something.
Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah, right.
What do you mean?
I don't believe that for a second.
Just take me out to dinner at Ruth's Chris and carry me in
No,
on
no.
a litter carried by, a bunch of people laying down red carpet in front of me as I go.
Wait, the people
that's
carrying him or laying down the carpet too? I mean, that's
Yes.
quite a lot.
It's pretty impressive.
multitasking.
That is.
It's
Right.
well, have you seen the meme going around with the Nigerian casket dancers or whatever, where the guys are dancing with the casket on their shoulder? That's what he wants.
Where were you like 3 or 4 months ago when Tombstone brought that up?
Did he? Was that
Yes!
a show I wasn't on? No.
Tombstone thinks it's the funniest thing in the world.
He does.
It's hilarious.
If you post those to his page, he doesn't stop laughing. It's
Oh, it's a hilarious meme. It's a lot in the
That's
internet gaming
Tombstone at
community. That's where I've seen
thefrontporchshow.com.
it. It's
Tombstone at
hilarious.
thefrontporchshow.com. You can send those there.
You get yourself into a situation where you're just hosed, and then the music starts, and then it's the guys just dancing with
Yes.
it's so
Yes.
good.
Terrible.
It's so good.
Anyway, that's our first
On that
segment.
one, guys, we will be right back. I don't know if we talked about anything we planned on talking about,
No,
which is
not sure.
okay.
I'm not sure.
but
Nothing wrong
Mathis,
with
you
that.
need to
How
get that
about-
music.
How about the ESPN Sports Complex?
It's interesting
With the Eiffel Tower.
with the Eiffel Tower.
I wanted to do at the end, I wanted to do like products liability, as in, if that camera explodes all over that guy, we'd sue the camera company and their insurance company, you see.
How did Yale out-rebound Baylor? You go up and grab the ball off the rim when it comes off, and then you grab it with two hands, and you come down with it, and that's considered a rebound. So they got more of those than we did.
There's a t-shirt of a headhunter a guy brought me from Borneo, which was kind of nice of him. He couldn't get me a shrunken head, so I got a t-shirt.
Thank you, Coach Leach. 25th of this month, MLB is supposed to start back up.
Yeah. What are they going to do without any crowds to just sit there?
There-
I was gonna say that
That's
really
funny.
would be the easiest one to start up because
I know.
they already are social distancing.
Seriously.
You
I don't know.
people.
Is everybody so desperate to go back to sporting games that they would actually do that? Like people would just group as many people as possible? Or do you think people are afraid? I would say the majority of sports fans probably wouldn't care enough about the coronavirus not to go to games.
That's probably very true.
What are your thoughts, Aaron?
I don't.
For your thoughts.
And now Aaron Mathis will
No,
explain.
no.
Okay,
What
so
happened to you?
did
Why are you like?
see- yeah, like
are
what
you
is-
distracted by an article?
Grief.
No, I was
It's
reading.
like-
I was reading the chat here and
Oh.
thinking about what you were saying.
It
And
took
then
you that
you
long?
like you. Yes, I was.
Wow.
Guys, I am multitasking here.
All I asked Mathis was if he could get a certain music for an intro. And then for those of you watching the video, I joked about Oslin's Pez dispenser
it's
being
Gandalf,
like Moses.
fool.
It's Gandalf.
Yeah,
It didn't even look like
I'm
Gandalf.
gonna break out my
No,
Gandalf too.
it's Gandalf the White.
It
Oh.
still kind of looks like Moses from, like, I don't know, the flannel graphs from
the
the flannel graphs from,
I was like, what in the world's the felt?
the little felt boards from,
so
growing up in
so
vacation
s-
Bible school.
Speaking of Moses and escaping with treasure, have you guys seen how much Mahomes is making?
Good grief, Mahomes.
Mahomes.
I like that.
Mahomes is going to be making over his contract. How do you like that whiplash?
How much?
I'm
How
telling
much?
you, I have 2 neck
So-
braces on now.
One for each side.
One for each side after this segment. It's like I've been to the chiropractor twice.
Okay, so the Chiefs just signed Mahomes.
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 Who's this
Get over
McCombs guy they signed?
I don't know why I keep
was that
saying
the
that.
bee's name from Honeycombs or like?
Mahomes. I don't know why I keep saying Mahomes. Mahomes. They signed him for a 10-year, I think it was $500 million, so $500 million contract. That's ridiculous.
When the NFL may not exist anymore because of COVID.
The NFL may not exist right now anymore because of COVID.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah. So what are your guys' thoughts on? I have a rant here too.
So
by the
it's.
way.
I think the whole contract is very interesting because there's a whole bunch of things that he can't
That's
do.
like- It's
He
like
can't. He
50
can't water ski. He
million.
can't play basketball. He can't do.
Is it all to protect him?
Oh
like, from
yes.
getting injured?
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
See,
Dude,
He
At-
can't do
at-
anything. Literally, he has to stay home and play
At-
video games.
At
10
fif-
years is a
at-
long time.
At
Like,
$50 million.
Yeah, 50 million a year. I can do that. I can do that.
That's hard.
I
let
can
me tell
I can
ya.
stay at home for $50 million a year. Let's
See,
figure out how much is that
you
per
say
hour.
that. You say that, but we've been staying home for the last several months and not doing a lot of things. Could
Okay,
you do this
okay,
for 10 years?
Okay. Let's put it this way: you give me $1 million and tell me to stay home for a year.
No
and see if
problem.
I can do it.
No problem, Jeff. Jeff,
With
I
$1
get it.
million,
Mahomes-
I get it.
if
you could buy people to come in. That sounded bad.
wow.
You could buy-
Yeah.
Optics on that one, buddy. Optics on that
All
one.
right.
you could
Next.
buy things to come in.
Well,
to
Ben is
your
from Georgia.
home.
So
Oh my gosh! Thank you.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Bringing out the guns there. At least we don't poison our people with water.
water's not poisonous.
There's so much wrong with all those comments.
That wasn't where I was going with that, but I meant the lead in the water is more or less what I was gonna go with.
Jeff,
And
that's
that didn't
that's
come out.
$25,000 an hour if he's working a 40-hour work week.
Yeah, but that's a 40-hour work week. How much is it? How much
Just
is
for
it
24 hours a day.
4-hour game.
Oh,
Oh wait,
but
is that
if,
20?
wasn't
if he can't do anything else with his life except like breathe,
What,
then you have to just do it for the 24-hour day.
Who was the other guy that got onto the
I'll figure
national
that out.
nationals?
Trout.
Trout.
Mike Trout.
Wasn't he getting paid something like?
Oh, he's like he got paid
50 or 80,000 per hit.
Yeah,
Or
it's
per
more.
up
I
at
thought it
bat
was
or
more than
something
that.
ridiculous like
I thought
that.
it was more than that.
Oh, it was not, something
But my
crazy.
thought is, in today's NFL, what quarterback retains that kind of value for 10 years straight?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, but he's
Yeah, but-
phasing out,
You dude,
and like Aaron Rodgers.
he's also what, 44, 45 now?
But what I'm saying is, in today's NFL, without like Belichick's schemes and stuff, like without the right team around him, I think it's a little bit of a risky investment to go that long with a contract.
Yeah, but
that's my only point. The money doesn't surprise me, but like maybe in a shorter installments, the length of contract surprises me.
But he's so young though. How old is Mahomes?
And he's 23.
Right.
22 or 23.
And he's a good passer, but he scrambles a lot too. That's the thing.
That's $5,707.76 per hour.
Yeah, on a 24-hour day.
That's rough.
Yeah, are you?
That's rough.
So,
I would like to know what it is for an 8-hour day. Thank you.
He already told us that.
I told you that. That's 5,000 for an 8-hour day. 5,000 or no, that's 25,000 per hour for an 8-hour day. Yeah.
This is nuts.
That's a lot of money.
I don't know though. It seems like you have all this money, so then you could afford to go water skiing and have a boat and do all these things, and you can't do any of it now.
Okay. So yeah, but you could buy VR. You could buy the best VR in the world. And
yes, because I want a VR water ski.
Dude, you could have people throwing buckets of water on you while you're doing that at this point. At that much money.
At some point, I think I'd rather live my life than have money, though. You know, at some point, somewhere. Right now, I'm born to have. I'm born to have money.
Live your life.
10 years.
Do whatever you want.
10 years, he walks away, and if he's invested it properly, he's doubled the money in 10 years.
10 years, he rolls away in a wheelchair because it's 10 years in the NFL.
Yeah, but he can buy a new body.
That's true. By then, we'll have like exoskeletons you could just strap into
buy
it.
a new body. Okay, so what is up with this sports thing? Because this is what's really pissing me off. I'm going to go on a rant here.
Do it.
So you have
I want to eat my pancake.
All these sports figures, and everybody is so concerned about their health for the sports figures.
Why
right?
is health in quotes?
Their health. I don't know, because it looked cool.
It's like it's not actually health. They're actually concerned about
because their health.
I'm like, so they're not concerned about their health. I'm confused.
So they're concerned about their health. Because they're so much more important than everybody else. Okay. So
you're saying the company. You're saying the company's concerned about Mahomes' health because of the investment.
No. I'm not even talking about Mahomes. I'm just talking about COVID-19.
He's talking about COVID with everyone, with all the sports players,
right? With everybody going down and everybody not playing. So everybody is super concerned about sports figures, and they're like, no, we can't restart this. What if everybody comes down with COVID and all this other stuff? So first off, they are the healthiest people in the world.
They're the absolute.
They have the best doctors in the world.
They're in the age bracket and all that stuff where they're the safest. Yeah.
Right. And so everybody's so concerned about them, but then you turn around and you go, oh, yeah, but you have essential workers. And they're essential. And nobody's really that concerned about essential workers. And you're like,
well, as long as you wear a mask, you're fine.
Right. But I'm just saying, these people are getting paid millions of dollars to sacrifice their bodies
for our entertainment.
And they're not willing to potentially get coronavirus,
which has gladiator battles to come back. And I don't mean the ones with foam Q-tips. I mean the ones with swords.
So, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, these people are in the peak condition and the perfect demographic of exactly where they need to be for not being that affected by coronavirus.
Ozzy.
And making it back.
So you want it spread for your entertainment.
This is the same. This is the exact same.
It's the whole thing of where all of a sudden it becomes, instead of it being like a 0.002% chance of these people dying because of their age group and everything, everybody goes directly to, well, we don't want to kill them off because coronavirus is dangerous. And you're like, but look at who it is. Look at who it is, and look at what they're getting paid for.
They're just trying to limit the spread in general.
If I can go to work through the entire virus and risk my life, then these people who are getting paid millions of dollars a year can't go to work and risk their life by playing in an empty stadium with other people, with the doctors and the overlook that they get. Come on.
But here's the thing. They can afford not to go to work for a while because half of them are still getting paid even though they're not playing because of the way their contracts are written.
Right.
And B,
I'm saying, like,
because they make millions of dollars a year. If I had the
will
option
go
to stay
$1
home,
$1
I've actually
million.
had I've
Give
actually
me
had the
$1
option to
million.
stay home for no pay, and I keep working even with the option to stay
Right,
home. So even if you gave me the option to stay home, I would work through this because I need
But
the
it's
money.
like,
so
but it's like, come on, seriously. That's what you're getting paid. You're risking your life. They make it sound like you have it's like a 40% death rate, and they're risking their lives, and yet you have essential workers who have been out in dealing with all of these customers and everybody else who all these people
really
will
has a bug up
never
his butt.
have to deal with. I told you
I'm
I was gonna
enjoying
go on
this.
a rant.
I'm really enjoying this.
I mean,
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you're
this was
getting
me-
paid
this-
millions of dollars for my entertainment. Get back on the field.
This was me last week. This was
Yikes.
totally me last week.
that is totally his Southern plantation mentality. That's why they're changing the name from
Wow.
owners to managers.
Wow.
The I mean, there's got to be essential workers though.
Yeah.
You're saying shut everything down,
Why not?
or are
Find
you
out-
saying
find
pay
out how-
essential workers more, and then who's going to pay them?
Fine. Why don't we take it from the NFL and all the other people who aren't actually doing anything right now and aren't willing to risk their lives?
Why don't we take the money from a private industry?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
By
They're not
force?
they're not doing anything with it.
Yeah.
At least it's actual money and not just like they're printing it.
I mean, you do have a point there.
Ozzy's like, look, if we're going down this road, let's go down a full bore. Let's
Why
just
not?
do it.
Why not?
It's like just redistribute the wealth.
Hey, I'm just saying, Mahomes is going to be making $500 million $50 million a year.
Do what he can do, and you can make that much money a year.
Listen, if you pay me $500,000 a year, I'll go play NFL right now.
But you don't have. But you're missing the part where you have to have the skill to be desired to do that.
The thing is, though, if nobody else in the NFL is playing, I have the best skill.
Now that is a point. Start your own league. Wait, the XFL did that.
Oh, that's right.
It weren't getting paid as much, and it didn't go anywhere.
But that was also while the NFL was still a thing.
Very true. So I think the XFL should try to come back right now.
They might have a
And
chance.
guys like you and Mathis could be out there playing and making $3,000 a year or something like that. And
yeah, I'm out on
I'm
that
not
one.
making that much. But you know what I'm saying, though? It's ironic how that everybody's so concerned and the virus is so deadly for all of these players not to be coming back and playing in empty stadiums.
meanwhile, we're packing nursing homes full of people with COVID.
Right. And you're also, Walmart is full, Home Depot is full, Lowe's is full, Myers is full, and it's just like nobody bats an eye for like the essential workers who have been doing this for their regular pay. But
Wait, do you have Meyer out there in New Jersey?
No, I just knew you did.
Oh, okay.
So I was trying to be relatable.
Making a
Nice.
relatable reference, like
Nice
Hy-Vee
relatable
or
reference for
Grand
the
Union
Midwest.
or Hannaford's or
I don't know what
Publix.
you're talking about.
We don't care about those backward stores out there.
Yeah, right? Seriously, your mom and pop stores don't relate to the country.
what are you talking? I just labeled like 8 big box grocers.
Apparently out west because we don't know about them.
What are you talking about? Hannaford's and Grand Union are up in New England.
Oh,
Publix is down where
Publix is
I know.
Southern.
Food Lion.
Food Lion.
Yeah, Food Lion. Food Giant.
Of course, Jeff would have been more comfortable if I said Whole Foods. Yes,
No
he
way.
would have. Yes, he would
Not a
have.
chance.
Yes, he would have.
I'm like
So he can
Ron
go get his-
Swanson
so he
at
can go get
the
his
Grain and Plenty or
turkey
whatever.
bacon.
Where, yeah,
Bacon.
Jeff
another
just,
please.
Jeff,
Why is anything made from turkey except for just regular turkey disappointing? You ever notice that? Like turkey bacon, turkey jerky,
turkey burgers.
turkey burgers.
Actually, turkey
I
jerky
actually don't
can be
mind
pretty
turkey
good
burgers.
if it's made correctly. There's good turkey jerky.
How do you make
Oh,
it correctly? How do you make it
buy-
correctly though?
You buy it from Perky Jerky. That's how.
So it's
That
got
sounds
caffeine
terribly
in it,
inappropriate.
No, it's called Perky Jerky.
and it's got caffeine in it.
No, it has what?
Yeah, perky
Does
jerky.
it?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that why? I knew
I
it
think
was.
that's
I knew
why
it
it's
was
called
turkey.
perky jerky.
I knew it was turkey. Is that why? I didn't know
thought
that.
So.
I did not know that. That is news to me. We're so far off now.
We are
Just roll with it. Just roll with it.
Do you think
Perky
Mahomes likes
jerky.
Perky Jerky?
He's probably not allowed. He's probably not allowed to.
He's probably
Let's
not.
see here.
Let's see, Jeff.
I thought that was the deal behind, because I'd seen it before.
Maybe.
I thought that was the
I'm
deal
not
behind
sure.
it.
So anyway, my rant is over. So you guys.
Okay,
can-
that's fantastic.
can go.
Good for you.
Go
I'm
for it.
trying to see here.
No, I mostly agree with you. Look, I think it's the same complaint that people like is it Ilya Omar keeps making?
And I'm not
maybe
saying
not.
like I don't have any problem with them playing or not playing. I'm just saying like why can't they? Just
Right.
because their job is a form of entertainment.
I think they complain because of the close proximity risk, but it's like, hold on. I mean, every single one of us has a close proximity risk all the time.
Yeah.
Wait. Here's a Forbes article from 2015.
Oh, great.
Perky jerky, the caffeinated beef jerky. How
Wow.
perky jerky, the caffeinated beef jerky, lost its perk.
Mm.
Wait, so it's non-cap.
It might not be
decaffeinated?
allowed.
Might not be caffeinated anymore.
That's sad.
Might not
I
be
didn't know.
allowed.
I honestly didn't know it was. And I've had it once. It is actually pretty good. You're right, but I'm pretty sure it's turkey though, right? I don't think it's beef.
Yeah, but I think this comes back down to caffeine can only be in beverages. It can't be in dry
So
products
they
or
were,
something.
well, no, they were using. So they settled on use. Apparently, according to this article,
That's not
the
true.
guy who invented this spilled a Red Bull into a bag of beef jerky, and that gave him the idea of why can't we combine energy and jerky?
Yes.
Seems like a terrible
Yes.
idea.
But he
That's
settled
awesome.
on guarana, which is they weren't
What?
able to
Yeah,
extract
yeah,
caffeine
right.
from coffee beans, so they settled on guarana flavoring. And actually, the original bags had as much as 150 milligrams of caffeine a bag.
Yowza.
But the FDA or the USDA said that you couldn't advertise guarana as a stimulant, only as a flavoring. And so then once that happened, they started cutting down on stuff. And so it looks like they don't even
That's
have
right.
the guarana in it
That's
Interesting.
super random. Yeah.
There's your
Good-
the more you
Yeah,
know.
I remember hearing that back in the day. It's so
I
weird.
don't. I also
It's so weird.
That is
like
why
so
the
weird.
turkey jerky is disappointing apparently now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's not really perky anymore. It's just jerky.
It's just jerky. Hmm.
As far as make it right, I don't really know. I know there's jerky outlets here, Mathis, that make like good real jerky. They do like exotic meats, but they also just
yeah.
do like beef and turkey. And there's like a cherry maple
Like long
turkey they make that's really good. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
So we're curing our 5th batch of bacon right now. I think 5th batch
Why has none been sent my way?
Yeah, right.
because it doesn't
What?
ship well.
I vote for Jeff to go and get that and distribute it to all 3 of the people that do not have it.
I think
So
Tombstone should do
we're
it.
talking about the redistribution of bacon, and that seems very much like socialism.
I am
I'm
fine
for
with
that.
redistributing your
Yeah.
bacon to me.
I'm for that.
I will go full Marxist on that one.
Yep.
It's really good bacon.
I would like to. Bring
I will
home the
fight
bacon.
fascism with fascism to get your bacon.
Thank you, Antifa. That's our latest message from Antifa Jeff.
Now, some of you might think I've been busy writing my memoirs. I'm not concerned about my memoirs. I'm concerned about my resume. Here's what I've got so far. Career objective, to stay president. But being realistic, I would consider an executive position with another country. Of course, I'd prefer to stay within the G8. I've been getting a lot of tips on how to write it, mostly from my staff. They really seem to be up on this stuff. They tell me I have to use the active voice with a resume. You know, things like commanded U.S. Armed Forces, ordered airstrikes, served 3 terms as president. Everybody embellishes a little. Designed, built, and painted bridge to 21st century. Supervised Vice President's invention of the internet.
I love that.
So, Ghislaine Maxwell has not committed suicide yet. She is still sitting in a, as far as I know, a New Hampshire jail cell awaiting. Would it be extradition to to New York, to where she is going to be?
This is so shady.
She's also got a ton of guards around her. But
so did what's his butt?
Yeah.
well, like I guess they've got like an entire Marshals division around her. Like
Wait, she has a Marshalls around her?
in like
So they like put her in the middle of a clothing store?
Oh boy.
U.S. Marshals.
It's like nobody will ever find her there.
She's
hard
hiding
it
in a
is to
clothes
find
rack.
this-
She's hiding in a clothes rack.
There's too much ability to hang yourself in a clothes rack.
But
No, I liked the suggestion that, like, look, if we could live stream a flipping pregnant giraffe for like 8 years or however long it was pregnant for, like, we can live stream this chick until her.
Oh,
trial
yeah, absolutely.
because-
Absolutely. Well, I mean, look, the cameras went down in Epstein's cell, so
Look, it was all an odd accident. The cameras went down. His roommate was out to lunch.
I know,
The
I know.
guards happened to fall asleep.
it
know,
just
it-
comedy of errors.
stuff
Things
happens.
It happens, and there's nothing. There's
Yeah.
nothing that can be done. I mean, it just
Yeah.
happens. Yeah, right.
People
So
that believe that, my goodness.
so disturbing. So more and more is starting to come out here. We don't have obviously any solid information as of yet.
Now, can I ask why you chose to play the Clinton intro?
No,
before
no.
we
Why would
discussed
you? Why
about
would
this,
you?
or-
Why would you ask that?
Oh,
Why-
I
why-
just wondered if there was a selection,
I don't know if
or
I
you
had-
just hit
if
the
I-
next
I-
one on the list,
If I had a Prince Andrew intro, I could play that.
or was it
or-
preordained, as Oslin
if
may
I had a
say,
Kevin
that it was-
Spacey
that
intro,
it
I
was
could have played that.
predestined that intro was played right there. So
Could have played a Kevin Spacey intro or a Bill Gates intro,
But you didn't.
but I didn't. It just happened. I mean, not that I have those intros or anything. I don't.
we do need a Kevin Spacey as Frank Underwood intro somewhere in here.
That's a good one. I like that. I mean, he was president for 2.5 terms.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm lost now.
I
I know.
don't know.
You guys went
So,
on a tangent.
So, one of the things that I've been researching the last couple weeks is
Disco.
Yes, disco.
How to raise a girl.
That too.
Good
But
Dun-
the I guess the scary thing that I have come across is the is sex trafficking in the world, and it's all really stemmed from researching the whole Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell situation and their ties with the rich and powerful and everything else, and the number of names that they potentially have that could literally upend our society, and what I would argue is in a good way.
Yeah, I was gonna say
In a good way.
It might be a good.
It's going to be catastrophic, but it's going to be good if everything comes out.
You want to talk about draining the swamp?
Right,
Like,
right. And
Get this stuff out. And
I
some
have-
legit swamp draining.
I have high suspicions that some people loved by both the right and the left are going to end up being
Yep, and that's fine. Take 'em
going
all
to be
down.
drained. And I am in big favor of that because I have obviously major issues with this. So I was doing some research, guys.
Yep, this is why castration should be a sentence.
Well,
I'm
chemical or just straight up physical?
yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to remain Switzerland on that one, where you're not going to know what I'm thinking, but I may agree with you, and I may not.
It's not exactly Switzerland.
Yeah. Although no one knows what they're thinking.
No one knows what they're thinking. 1.5 million, it's estimated, because obviously we don't know the numbers, because, 1.5 million people are sex trafficked every year, is the estimation. And the other number that really staggered my mind was that 25 million people are in actual slavery in the world. 25 million people are in actual slavery in the world.
And pretty much all those 25 million are here in the U.S., right?
Actually, no, they're not.
Man.
Most are
I've seen
in
the news lately. I'd have swore that it was here in the U.S.
right. You would have most are in Africa. Most are in. I realize I said the A word. most are in
Middle East.
Africa, most are in the Middle East, and in Asia. Those three regions very, very high on the slavery markets.
Now, what type of
So-
slavery are we talking about?
We're like
Are we talking about-
domestic slavery, not necessarily sex slavery, but domestic slavery, where you have been bought and sold to do domestic duties.
And not like indentured
Cleaning houses
servitude
or-
where you did it.
No,
to pay
no, not
debts.
indentured servitude, where you are actually being forced into labor for someone else.
Right. So
Whether-
we're not talking about what is it, the 1609 or whatever
Oh, the
that was?
1619 project.
Yeah,
What is that?
that was.
That's the New York Times revisionist history.
No.
Americans,
Yes.
You know, guys, this is one of those things that is really like, it was obviously a rabbit hole that I went down with the Epstein thing that got me to the whole slavery numbers. But one of the things that keeps glaring at me through all of this is the revisionist history on both sides, and the idea that on the right, and I'm gonna go after the right here first.
Uh-oh.
Can't do that.
Yes, I can, and I will. that slavery was a mark on our history. It was bad, but there's no after effects of it, and it's just
Okay.
gone now, and so we don't have to worry about it. We don't
Okay.
talk about it. We just ignore it. And to some extent,
Many people that are actually pushing that mindset, though.
I have run into a lot of people who are pushing that mindset.
Okay.
I
Wait,
have.
that they're pushing. We don't talk about it,
We
or that
don't
like,
need to talk about it. It doesn't
it's
matter
in the
anymore.
past. We don't need to rip off old scabs. We need to
More,
acknowledge it.
more of a, it wasn't as bad as we are making it out to be. which-
I haven't
which-
run into those people.
Which I've run into quite a few people, unfortunately. And it could just be, the people I'm running into. It's all anecdotal.
be-
It's all
Could just
anecdotal.
be your friends.
It's all anecdotal. So you're my friend, Jeff. And so
Walked into that.
That's what you think.
so that's
I'm
kind of
just here-
disturbing. And then you
I'm
have
just here to
No,
push
Jeff,
the button.
Listen,
and
you're
unleash
not
the
his
rods.
you're not his
Then-
friend. You have no bacon.
then you
It's
have
I've received no bacon. I've received no
Sorry.
other
I'm sorry.
devices, projectiles, if you will, from him.
uh,
So I'm
so
just
what you're
here.
saying is he hasn't run into you yet.
I'm
That's true.
just here to control the rods of God.
So I think the opposite extreme is the left, who is revising the history to say that the U.S. is built and based on racism, and that is our history, and we must purge that history. We saw that last week with Colin Kaepernick screaming about the 4th of July being a white supremacist holiday, and that.
People still listen to him.
Unfortunately, yes, people still listen to Colin Kaepernick because he's probably going to get a contract this year.
He's probably going to get a bigger contract than Patrick Mahomes this year because the NFL has just flipped to a total virtue signal.
But and I think that's the other issue is you've got so many companies now who are virtue signaling as much as they possibly can because they don't want the repercussions. Last week on the show we mentioned the Texas State realtors no longer using the word master for master bedroom. And I'm sitting there going, you've got to be kidding me. There's no history that suggests that's even a racist connotation.
No, it literally means the primary, the top one. This
And
type of
pretty
terminology goes
soon-
back to like master craftsman,
Right, exactly.
not like
And-
master
and
of the
to
house.
your point, and I've made fun of you, Jeff, for this, about your whole rant about words mattering.
Words
and-
mean things.
And words mean things. And I've made fun of you, but you have some major points on that. Like and they
Can't
do
surrender
matter.
the language, because if you surrender the language, then all of a sudden they have the language and then they use the language against you, and then you get embroiled. Anytime you go to debate, I've seen this so many times, the debate becomes, well, you can't say that, oh, this term, or oh, you're just being picky about the terms, and it's like, then what do you want me to call it? Like,
Right.
Okay, I'll use whatever word you want to use. The point is still the same. And of course, if they can just embroil you in a debate over the terms and confuse the terms,
Well, then they
you can't
win.
debate 'em.
There's no debate over ideas. It's simply
Over terms.
It's simply over terms. And so
when terms are defined by how you feel about them, there's
So there's-
meanings.
there's a couple things I want to get to in this conversation here. And number one is the revisionist history, where we really have an issue in our country right now. And I realize some of the listeners, you guys are going to be like, oh, great, he's going all conspiracy theorist. That we have
Tinfoil warning.
university professors, which are majority of them have been trained under the school of Marxist thought. And so
or if that term's too strong, we'll stick to progressive.
progressive thought, Marxist, same thing. I'm equating them as the same thing. Encouraging progressive thought. And so what they are doing is they are now teaching the kids. Did you know that over 50% of over 75% of incoming professors are progressive in public universities?
Oh, they own the education system.
And that's
They
my
absolutely own
point.
it.
That's my point. And so you've got people who are sitting there getting these educations, and it's taught as if it doesn't matter. It's taught as if this is the normal, it's the norm.
It's taught if it's pure truth, as if
Right,
pure truth
exactly.
instead of opinion.
And a lot of this is the hiring. And if you read Rules for Radicals, this is in Rules for Radicals. This has been, declared as what to do by Saul Alinsky himself.
You nutbag.
And I know I'm holding
Too
up the
much
book again. And
We're going to be the leading cause of sales for that book.
I know. And look, if I
You
am,
can
that's
actually get it
fantastic.
free, I think, like a PDF.
No,
So you don't have
you
to even
can't.
spend any money.
I don't think you can. Not Rules
I
for
thought I
Radicals.
did because I have it.
Oh,
I thought I got
you
it
probably
free 'cause
stole
I
it
didn't
from
wanna
someone.
Spend any money.
I mean,
Well,
supporting
no.
capitalism by
Yeah.
giving money to a Marxist seems ludicrous. I mean, it should just be free anyways. Shouldn't it? Shouldn't it?
I mean, there's free PDFs of it online.
I'm just saying it should be free anyways, regardless. And so you've got these kids being educated. And so not only that is you've got civics no longer taught in schools. People don't understand the concept of why we have an electoral college. You have
The Electoral College was an elitist race.
yeah, and we're going to talk with Jay Eldred about the history of the electoral college.
Oh, are we? Cool.
We are
That'll be fun.
hopefully in the next couple weeks. I'm going to line him up.
You realize that's going to tick off a lot of people on the right.
I understand that. I understand that, and that's
who are
okay.
Kind of big on like the democracy train
I know.
of things.
I know.
like,
but we
realizing that, like,
address
people
these
don't have
topics,
inputs.
Jeff, because we like the facts. We
Exactly.
want to
To
learn the
argue.
facts and we want to dive into it.
And we like to argue.
And so, yeah, and we like to argue. Yes, we do. And so,
I know what you really want.
the way to Jeff's heart is a good argument. And so you've got all these kids who are being taught a revisionist history, a new history, that the U.S., that the founders were all racists, all slave owners, which isn't true.
Mhm.
And we're purging the sides of history that we don't care about.
Yes.
There's no allowance for nuance, and
No.
like we said, truth is almost always nuanced.
Yes.
So on both sides, and I get, if you're going to try to condense something and pick something and teach it, especially to young kids and whatever, you're going to teach the positives, right? Especially when that's that. So
Right.
like, if you're going to sit down to your 5-year-old and on Independence Day, try to talk to them about the founding of our country, you're going to hit Paul Revere and Betsy Ross and Lexington and Concord. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to hit the highlights because you want to focus on the positives. You don't, like, who wants to focus on the negatives besides maybe us? I don't know. But who wants to focus on the negatives? And then you're going to hit the highlights. And you're right. People don't like to acknowledge mistakes they've made. That's a problem. We can't just not acknowledge them like it didn't happen, but you also can't only preach all the negatives like some weird sort of penance where you're wearing sackcloth and ashes and hitting yourself in the head with a board like the monks in Monty Python. Like,
I knew that's where that was going. I knew it.
I saw his
know
eyes.
exactly
I saw him look up at the camera like, is he going where I think he's
I know
going?
exactly where he's going with that.
The thing you're mentioning, Jeff, though, is really the point that I was going to get to, is that
Sorry, I got
we're emphasizing the negatives, but we don't emphasize the fact that the U.S. abolished slavery. We got rid of it. There are countries in this world. We have 25 million slaves in our world today. We abolished slavery because we realized our moral corruption. We realized our moral failure, and we decided we wanted to put that in our past. We decided to move past that.
We decided to sock old Hitler on the jaw.
And honestly,
That too. Thank you,
we
Captain
paid
America.
we paid for it in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
and
yes.
we might have done it later and in a different method than like England went through.
Well, right.
with it.
England was
But-
Wilberforce.
Yeah, honestly, thankfully, England went through it in much more of a kind of spiritual
Yes.
What's the term I'm thinking of? Not Reformation,
it's a revival. Spiritual
revival. Yeah, like they almost went through it with much more of a spiritual revival. We didn't get there, and we unfortunately went, but politically, and paid for it in spades.
That
in
is why
gallons of
we're
blood
dealing
in lives, because we unfortunately went through it more that way.
And I'd argue that also caused us the issues of the civil rights movement, which we had. Having to in some ways refight that during the 60s and segregation and everything.
So are we not refighting the same battles today? Or a consequence of those in a smaller way than we did in the 60s?
Again, because we are trying to deal with a spiritual issue with a secular solution. Yes, we are, and that's huge. Unless the hearts change, politics can't change your heart. I hate to tell that to folks. I mean, we've got listeners out there who politics is their thing. That's what they literally breathe and beat politics. And whether they think they do or not, they bleed their party's colors. And that's not your solution. Your solution is not politics. Your solution is the gospel. Your solution is a spiritual change of the heart. And that's the only thing that's going to fix any of these issues. I mean, you can't eliminate hatred towards another person by legislating the way out of it. And I honestly,
basically, all you can do with legislation is punish the actions of this human hatred toward each other when they occur. That's pretty much all you can do.
This conversation that we're having here is really the crux of why I am so libertarian. Because
it's because of Jeff.
Yeah, because of Jeff. Jeff forced me to be a libertarian because I couldn't be like him and be conservative.
You're in college.
Okay, because not be an actual conservative. That might be it.
He scared me away from being a conservative. So no, and like that is honestly what has really caused me to be so libertarian in my thinking is the idea that I don't believe government is the solution. Government has never been the solution. If you look through history, government has not fixed stuff. Government is an issue waiting for a problem so that it can create more problems. I mean, that's really what they're doing.
So what they've done is created a unique solution for a problem that never should have existed.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And basically the role of government is to fix a problem that they created so that they can fix another one.
And here's the thing. You want to talk about revisionist history, and I wanted to find the text of it to kind of get some of the exact wording. But you talk about our failures.
Now.
you talk about the way we address slavery and how England did it through more of a revival process, and we attempted to do it politically. And the talk of all the founders being racist and talking about nuanced history, because several of them were slave owners.
Yeah, they were.
History. Let's talk about Hamilton.
Oh yeah, well that's another. We find out that it doesn't have to be accurate because it's artistic or whatever their excuse is. But the original draft, written by one of those slave owners. And that's where I would love to understand more of the thought process.
Yeah.
But the original draft of the Declaration of Independence has an entire paragraph that one of the complaints against the King of England is slavery, slave trafficking, and slave markets.
Yep.
And unfortunately, there was enough because of the era, and this is where nuance has to exist. Because of the era, not everyone could agree on that paragraph. And unfortunately, it was basically it was almost a Faustian bargain to make sure that the country got created and survived the revolution. Is the can got kicked down the road about slavery in the States.
Yeah.
And we paid for it with the Civil War.
Yep, we did.
Okay. We can have our arguments back and forth about states' rights versus slavery. All of those things were elements of the Civil War.
Yes.
They really were.
We don't
Slavery was an
need to
element.
refight that
States'
today.
rights were an element. They were all elements of it. Okay. But Jefferson, a slave owner, so it's very interesting how he can write this, has taught, this is his wording, referring to the King of England. He has waged cruel war against human nature itself, violating its most sacred rights of life and liberty in the persons of a distant people who never offended him, captivating and carrying them into slavery in another hemisphere, or to incur miserable death in their transportation thither. He talks about suppressing every legislative attempt to prohibit or restrain this execrable commerce, which is selling men in an open market.
Right.
So obviously, some of the colonies were attempting to eradicate the slave trade, and the King of England prevented it. And so these are the types of things in history that we have to realize. These men weren't perfect. They made mistakes. They made a compromise that maybe they shouldn't have made in the founding of the country, but we paid for it. We have to acknowledge that stuff in history. We cannot erase that from our history, but we don't stand condemned as this like people that just built our glorious empire on the backs of slaves and we revel in our riches built upon that. Like that's not true.
No, you're right.
The three of us sitting here don't owe anything to anyone for that.
No, look, no one should be. You are not responsible for you are literally not responsible for the sins of your ancestors. Yes, their sins do affect us. I mean, that's a biblical principle, but am I responsible for them? Do I owe penance for them? I don't believe so. I don't believe that is I do not believe that is a gracious look at things. Again, spiritual solution. Spiritual solution is a much better option. So I was looking up some more numbers. The peak numbers of slaves in the U.S. were only 4 million in the 1860 census, and only about 300,000 slaves were ever actually shipped to North America. There were 380,000 were actually shipped to North America. Most of them were shipped to Brazil and to the Caribbean for the sugar plantations, which were owned by the Portuguese, which were owned by the French, which were owned by the English, which were owned by basically everyone else. And so,
and again, this is not whataboutism. This is, you need to understand history and that it's a much deeper, darker. It's been an element of human history since the beginning.
Well, right.
Slavery, owning
Genesis.
people.
Genesis speaks of slavery.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it has literally been with us since the beginning, which speaks again to the sin issue of the entire thing.
Fallen human nature will always seek to dominate other people for other reasons, and will use some excuse for that domination, whether it's skin color, technological advancement, whatever.
Yep.
But that domination's going to be there in fallen mankind. But to your point about none of us, you talk about their slavery there early in the Bible. We see it in early human history, but scriptures are also pretty clear that except for times when like God is declaring judgment upon a nation for some big reason, like Israel, you've got places in Deuteronomy, fathers shall not put to death because of the children. Children shall not be put to death because of their fathers. Each one shall be put to death for his own sin.
Yeah.
You have Ezekiel talking about the son shall not suffer for the iniquity of the father, nor the father suffer for the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be on himself, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon himself. That's what we have to get back to, is that each individual is responsible for his own decisions.
Yep.
And we can agree that certain races advanced quicker, potentially because they enslaved other races. Like, that's a historical fact, right?
That may be a factor. Absolutely.
That contributed to some eras of the economy. But you can't go back and undo it.
No.
And you can't reverse that cycle. You can't pull a South Africa and try to flip it on its head and enslave the other race now just as paybacks.
Yep.
That's not appropriate either. There has to be an acknowledgement, and there has to be a moving forward. And each individual needs to pay for their individual crimes.
And that really comes also back to this whole new argument that I keep seeing by people, and even presidential candidates, of it's not enough just not to be a racist, you have to be anti-racist. And it's like,
well,
whoa, hold on.
I'm also seeing the silence is violence.
Yeah, right.
See,
exactly.
That's more of a
exactly.
problem, because it's what they consider silence.
Right.
Silence is not hashtagging a Marxist organization in your post. That's silence.
I mean,
it's not
this whole idea that if you're not vocally screaming about this, screaming about the injustices that statistically may or may not be happening.
Well, and I think that's because it's not how long all of us, when we say all men are created equal, we mean all men are created equal. I know that at the time the words were written, not everyone was not actually being applied to everyone, even by the man who wrote the words.
I mean,
but
Jeff,
the philosophy, which is founded in a scriptural philosophy, we believe it. And so when we talk about those things, we mean it. So we have actually been being not just not a racist, but anti-racist all along in these kind of conservative circles where we believe this worldview that all people are equal. But that doesn't count as anti-racist because we're using words that they turn around and claim are racist.
And
if we're not saying no justice, no peace, if we're not saying hashtag BLM, this organization that wants to destroy the nuclear family and advance trans and Marxist philosophies, then we're not anti-racist.
No, you're right. Look, I think it's also pretty low to when someone yells Black Lives Matter that, the right immediately, well, all lives matter. And I think that's a bit insensitive. I think that yes, may be true, but may not be the wise thing to say at this time due to the situation.
This is the issue with sloganeering versus discussion.
I agree with you. And look, we had this discussion last night. Like, I don't necessarily have an issue with the word Black Lives Matter. I have a major
statement.
It's a true, absolutely true statement.
Those three words in that order is a true statement.
But I don't want my words conflated with the organization of Black Lives Matter. And that's the issue. So
Correct.
I don't know if you've seen the mission creep here in the in BLM. In their mission statements.
I have not.
You haven't? Oh,
not recently, no.
So as of the other day, BLM's hashtag What Matters 2020, they will focus on the following issues: racial injustice, police brutality, criminal justice reform. Great. Those three are great. I am all for you. Hashtag BLM.
If we need to reevaluate those things, do it by all means.
Now, here's where I start falling apart. I don't know what this means necessarily, but okay. Black immigration. I didn't know black immigration was an issue. Is it?
I thought we were mainly focused on Hispanic immigration.
I thought that's what we were focused on right now.
South America,
So
and
all of a sudden we see mission creep here. We see mission creep here. Economic injustice. Okay, I can get behind a little bit of that with classism. I think we do have some issues where people aren't treated the same, but I suspect that's talking more of Marxism and not of actually fixing the system.
Right.
Okay, so we're starting to divulge here. LGBTQIA plus and human rights. Now, remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about Black Lives Matter. We're talking about Black Lives Matter. What matters 2020? Black Lives Matter is going to focus on the following issues. Environmental conditions, voting rights and suppression,
So basically, they're turning into
healthcare, government corruption, education, and the cherry on top of the ice cream, common sense gun laws. They are not representing Black lives.
So you're only worried about your Second Amendment, you evil racist.
So what they're doing is basically they're just taking. So basically, this is what I've heard is that you have a few things that are specifically needing to be looked at, and then the rest of it sounds awfully familiar to about what all of the liberals have been screaming about for the past 4 years with Trump.
It's funny because I'm reading here from the Democratic Party platform.
Right. So what it sounds like is that fighting Black Lives
for
Matters was
economic fairness and against inequality, removing barriers for opportunities and bringing Americans together, climate change, combating climate change, education, health care.
Yeah.
And look, all these things are tenets of, like, literally they are
They're the party platform.
guys, this is the party platform. This is a progressive party platform. That's all this is.
And this is why caution, this is what, when I'm saying this is the danger of sloganeering versus discussions. So, because you have people out there, you have a lot of people out there that they're truly genuinely moved by some of these events, like the death of George Floyd.
And we all should be. Yes.
We all should be. And they've heard it a lot. They've heard it enough. They want to show. They're trying to avoid the whole silence is violence thing and being accused of being silent. They feel like they need to express their mind somehow. And through social media, they see these hashtags going around, and they use the hashtag, and they use it out of a genuine, yes, I believe this statement that Black Lives Matter. And then I see other people defend the statement and say, look, I'm not saying only Black Lives Matter and put them above white lives now. I'm saying right now there's a focus on Black lives, and we can disagree about some of the disparity of numbers, but right now people believe there's a disparity. And when you have that discussion one-on-one with someone, you can say, yes, okay, you and I sitting across from each other, slight difference of opinion. We start talking. You're saying this phrase, meaning, hey, we need some emphasis on this right now. I'm saying, you see the terribly related jokes where they try to say, oh, 4th of July, all countries' independence matter, whatever.
Right.
Which actually I agree with, independence for Hong Kong. But anyway, the point being,
hashtag screw China.
Being, we can sit down and have those discussions, but when you're hashtagging this and the hashtag is connected to this movement and this organization, I think this is where you need to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves from the focus of you have to understand what you're engaging in. And there's some, you can also be excused if you didn't quite understand and you're trying to support your fellow humans, but you need to educate yourselves. And that's why certain the phrase is true. Well, the idea may be true. Certain slogans, certain hashtags within the social media environment, personally, I believe should not be used because they lend credence to an organization. They're keyed into an organization. You aren't gonna, if you're a German and you have a leader in your organization, you're not going to use the term Mein Führer to refer to your leader ever again, because of its connotation, right? You're not going to do it. If you're struggling with something, you're not going to call it Mein Kampf because of its connotation, because of the way it's been used. Is it just German words that mean my leader or my struggle? Yes, but
We're still not going to use it.
You're still not going to use them. And that's my point. And everyone's going to be, there you go. There's the whatever the principle is that Tombstone talks about. You know, you're referring to your enemies as Hitler. No, I'm not referring to my enemies as Hitler. My point being, that's just the easiest one that comes to mind of certain phrases that are now associated with things that are very wrong politically or for whatever reason. And so even though the phrase itself is benign, you've got to be careful about your associations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's why I think some of these hashtags and phrases should not be used in social media. And then when you choose not to use them while still supporting the overall principle of other fellow human beings, image bearers, protecting their lives, you get what was the guy that, like, there was some organization or some person that supported Black Lives Matter but didn't support it vociferously enough, and so they got him canceled. Like,
right.
This is the problem. They're coming for you. Gosh, I'm gonna sound like I got tinfoil on my head. There is a desire to fundamentally transform the American society.
And look,
there really is. There really is.
People need to pick up a copy of Karl Marx's book, Communist Manifesto. I encourage everyone to have a copy of that and everyone to read that.
So far today, he is prompting sales for rules for radicals in the Communist Manifesto.
Absolutely. And may I throw another book in there? May I throw another book in there as well? Mein Kampf.
There's a free version of that out there too.
There is. In fact, I don't think I could ever actually find that one for sale. I had to download it,
which is probably a good thing.
Yes.
But the point being,
you should know this, because if you
should have objectionable material to read to understand what's objectionable.
If you read those 3 books, you will see exactly what the progressives are doing right now in our country. And it will terrify you. But again, back to my previous comment, you do not know. Did
we invite Glenn Beck on this program?
You do not know. Your
Isn't
kids,
he the one that hates on Glenn Beck?
Your kids do not know what they are learning because they're not learning it. They're not being taught this stuff. This stuff is important. This stuff matters.
Unleash Oslin now. Unleash him. He's been waiting. We
need to hold him back.
Oh, I want to hear what you have to say.
We need to hold him back. We need to hold him back.
I would argue that none of this is going to change.
I unfortunately, I think I agree with you.
The reason why it's not going to change is because parents have given up their right to their children to the government.
Pretty much.
Yes.
The responsibility to educate.
Yep. Right. And so why are we so surprised that after
it's propaganda.
50 years, 60 years of public school teaching where governments come in and they teach and tell you what to teach children, and why are we surprised that at this point in time you have kids that are in their 30s, this is our generation doing this stuff, who have been brought up under this government thumb and under social media and under all of these other things that are pushing them that this is what's happening.
Well, I don't think the 3 of us sitting here are surprised by that.
Right.
But see, so
it's the giving up of it's the unknowingly giving up of children to public into governmental teaching.
It's normalized. I need to go to a job. I need to work. I got to pay the bills.
Right.
They provide my taxes, pay for this kid to get an education.
Right.
It's just math and science. I need my kid to know math and science. Let's do it.
Which I will go out. I will go out here and say that most teachers are doing a fine job and they are making ends meet. Especially these K through 12 teachers. They're doing an amazing job. They really are. But the problem is that the curriculums that are given are slanted, and it's propaganda.
And the other thing is that you're looking at is you have not only the curriculum, not only that, but they have ripped. Like why are we still fooling ourselves that the nuclear family is still a thing? The nuclear family is dying out if it's not already almost dead, because we have convinced and taught children, whether public school, whether just I don't know, wherever
society that
the parents don't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have a dad. It doesn't matter if you have your mom. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter if you have 3 dads.
Because the community will take care of you, because that's what we've done, and that's what parents have let the government do. And I think that it's a slight slope from, I don't know, maybe the 1960s, and it's just progressively gotten worse because each generation doesn't know better because they're not taught it.
Nuance and conflation. So, because in a lot of, you see this in the BLM stuff about community involvement and supporting parents and you getting
which is great. Community involvement is great.
It's an admirable thing.
Like if I didn't have my
conflation
my
of what Hillary Clinton means when she says it takes a village, what the progressives mean when the community is involved in replacing the family, versus what we would mean, where you need to take care of your community, but in your community of nuclear families, when you see another family hurting, you reach out and help them,
to restore that family.
Exactly, that's a perfect way to put it. And if if it's impossible to restore that family, if the family loses a spouse, you're helping them through that hard time till they get to a new normal.
And then there are things to do if there is those circumstances. But the problem is we're being taught that those circumstances are perfectly normal.
Correct.
And that it's fine.
We're creating those circumstances.
Right. And it's fine if you have an abortion. It's fine if you get pregnant. It's fine. It's all norm. You can have sex when you're 15. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Everything will be taken care of because there's no
consequences.
Right. There's no consequences for any of it. So it doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden you have like these one parent homes, mostly single mother homes, I would say, because the fathers are running out or don't care.
Right.
Because that's what they're taught to do.
Yeah.
And
and then it's incentivized.
Well, it's incentivized by the government.
And then you have these single parent homes. And then you have to force that parent to, if they even know how to be a parent, you're forcing them out of the home to have a job and to whatever, and then to have no other choice.
To Elizabeth Warren's credit, the 2-income gap.
Right.
I mean,
correct. Trap.
2-income trap. I mean, there I go. 4 books today. 4 books by leftist progressives.
Let's get this right.
That I've encouraged.
He's only actually read like 2 of these books.
He's read like 3 sentences.
No. I have read all 4 of them. I've read all 4 of them.
That's the only since college.
I read.
Don't know. Was there a picture book version of each of these?
There is.
No, that's Tombstone.
It's Audible. Did you do it on Audible? Is that what it was?
Hey, okay.
I can't stand Audible. I can't focus and listen to
Next segment.
Hold on. So, did you know, speaking of Audible, that you can listen to Audible for free right now? I found this the other day. I am super excited about this. No, it's cool.
No, I'm just saying.
Money.
This is our advertisement right now.
Yeah,
listen to Audible for free.
So if you go online, you go to stories.audible.com, and it's like Audible, but you have to listen to it online. You can't,
can't use the app.
No, you can't use the app because you don't log in or anything, and you can look at like kids' stories and things like that, and you can listen to it for free. So anyway, there you go.
Nice
update.
You're welcome, Audible.
So
and it's free.
It's been a dark segment here, but I think our point is
just wait.
The next segment's going to be really light and really exciting, and I can't wait for it.
We honestly didn't even get to the thing that I think started this segment in the break.
What was that? I don't even remember.
Which was the question I asked you guys if you saw this theory going around about Wayfair's human trafficking.
No, we never got to that.
I never did.
So I don't know if
I don't think it's true. So there's a conspiracy going around that Wayfair has a bunch of different items on there that are super high priced, and what the names of the items like
seem to correlate with missing children.
Yeah, and so
it's weird. I saw it pop up. I did a couple quick searches on Wayfair. Of course, supposedly everything's been taken down now.
Right.
I didn't see anything like it pop up on Wayfair.
Everything on Wayfair is overpriced, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, but not like a little cabinet or throw pillow for like 10 grand.
Right.
That's the point.
A lot of
it's weird. It smells like a little bit of a conspiracy theory to me, obviously, but I just don't know what to believe anymore.
No, right.
so-
I know.
You take everything with a
It's
grain of salt.
tragic. I hope it's not true. If it is, that's terrifying. That a huge business is doing that. But then again, guys, Epstein, Ghislaine.
Yeah.
Guys,
and that's my point.
this is real.
It's
This is
coming
real.
out because like people are paying attention to this because of the Maxwell.
This stuff is real.
You know,
This
and
stuff is
Epstein
real.
stuff.
This stuff is real. I mean,
Sadly, yes, it actually has a potential merit of truth.
which is absolutely
was-
terrifying.
Yeah. Yep.
So I hope it's not true. I mean, we'll obviously find out more about this in the next couple weeks. Does anyone know when Ghislaine's going to show up in court? Like I'm kind of excited about this. Like I want to see this go down. Like
I don't know, but it needs
2020
to be-
couldn't 2020 couldn't get any better.
All the guys who've been canceled off of filming for Live PD just need to be tasked with
Yes.
recording her
24/7. 24/7. I want that on a channel. 24/7 with them commentating on this. That would be
Yes.
great. What else was I
Get
thinking?
those NPR
Oh,
guys to commentate.
I need her to come out with like her list of people before the
that'll
2020 election. I need her to drop the list before
Drop
the 2020
names.
election.
That would shake.
That
That would
way-
shake things up more than Kanye's.
I know that way Kanye can run for president and win.
Yeah, right.
We'll be right back. We're going to talk about that when we get back.
Yes.
Guys, it was immediately after the show last week. I jumped on Twitter, broke it,
Broke Twitter.
broke Twitter
broke
when I
Twitter.
jumped on it. Yep. And found out
You broke
that Kanye West was running for president. Yeah,
I'm still lost at how you broke Twitter.
because I jumped on it. I jumped on Twitter. And then I broke it because I jumped on it.
So how did you find out Kanye was running if it was broken?
Oh,
Yeah.
just stop. Just stop. Now you're
I wanna
thinking too
know.
hard. Now you're thinking too hard.
Sorry for thinking.
Yeah, so
will be a mindless
Kanye
show.
Kanye West, Yeezy himself is running for president of the United
love it.
States. Kim Kardashian, if he is elected, will be
Classy
our
first
first lady.
Classy right there.
I mean, look, she won't be the first one who's posed nude.
New Jersey is taking over.
Wait, what?
What?
I should have been paying.
Kim Kardashian wouldn't be the
This
first
is going to be the
first
year.
lady who has posed.
I'm sorry, 2021 is
scantily.
going to be the year the Jersey Shore rules the world.
Oh boy.
Snooki as the
Secretary of State.
That's right. Secretary of State Snooki.
Get the bros.
Okay,
The bros take
so-
over the
Let me
Secret
off.
Service.
Let me
So-
off. Let me
so-
off.
At this point,
Dude, I will vote for him right now.
yes, I will too.
Put the election. Put it in.
At this point, I actually
it
think
in.
he is the best option.
Put
At
it
this
in.
point, I think
You think Kanye West, who thinks that the aluminum in your deodorant and vaccines probably cause, I don't know. I don't want to claim all of his weird conspiracies he believes, but he believes some weird stuff.
Again, I am going to make this point that at this point, he is the most truthful
Yes.
candidate.
Yes.
Because no
That-
candidate who did not believe what they were saying would ever say that.
he's
stuff.
like the
That-
Bernie.
that statement
He's like a
is true.
moderate
He is-
Bernie Sanders.
He
So,
is the most truthful.
You do know what you're voting for. He is not going to just randomly backstab you with some random thing that
Yes.
came out of nowhere.
Or is
that
he
you-
though?
I don't know. Maybe,
No,
but
no,
I'm
he
willing
won't.
to take.
Because he has shown that he's willing to back down from things. Like
Is
he
he?
tweeted a pro-life.
Okay,
tweet
hold on.
with
I'm going to
with
defend him on this.
Aaron's
these
gonna
babies
own you.
and
No,
said these
no, I
souls
won't.
deserve life. And the minute he got pushback, he deleted his tweet.
I think it was. I think there was multiple reasons for that, and I don't know if it was he deleted it or if it was Twitter deleted it.
So
That's
one
your
of the
excuse is
reasons
that Twitter deleted it?
Twitter may have deleted it because in that tweet there were in utero children, and Twitter has been known to pull down stuff like that.
Every indication I've seen is that he deleted it.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Why don't you tweet him?
I don't know.
Maybe President Trump doesn't actually make all of those tweets. Maybe it's just Twitter.
Ooh.
Do you know-
I actually
how
think
hard it would be to be Trump's like press secretary that has to put out tweets by him, and you have to like tweet
This
like him.
poor
or
guy.
delete
Oh,
tweets like the tweet
Or-
that he
or
posted, or
delete,
delete
yeah.
them like the tweet that Trump tweeted the other day of the guy screaming white power.
I missed that, but
I
I'm
think-
glad.
Oh, I
did.
sent
This
that
is
to
what
you.
happens.
It was
I think
it was
this
someone
is
in the
what happens.
villages. Someone in the villages was traveling down the road in
It
their
was one of the
in
village
their
people.
it was one of the village people traveling down the road in their golf cart, and they came across a Black Lives
no,
Matter protest,
Yeah.
and
No,
the
no, it
Black Lives
wasn't.
Matter protests were screaming at them.
No. This was a parade.
Oh, that's right. It was a Trump parade, pro-Trump
it was
parade.
it was a pro-Trump parade.
Right,
that
that's
encountered
right.
a Black Lives Matter protesters.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
boy.
No.
That just
Keep
sounds
in
like
mind.
a recipe for
keep
disaster.
in mind.
It
this
was
is
bad.
all in a retirement.
Yeah. So remember, they're all 70
so
plus,
everyone
65
is
plus,
like 65 plus in their golf carts in Florida,
screaming at each other. Yep.
One guy hits a lady with his golf cart because she won't get out of the way. It is pure gold.
Due to
You should
due to
watch
language,
it.
we can't.
It's
We
actually,
cannot
Oh,
it's
play
actually
that.
pure
Goodness.
silver, probably.
It
Ben.
is.
Nah, that's true.
Silver,
And blue.
This
Or
reminds
blue.
me of, remember those two guys with their with their scooters? They rammed each other.
Oh
with their
yes,
scooters?
yes.
This is exactly the same thing.
And so, anyways, Jeff, the guy screams at her white power and throws
Yes.
up a fist,
Yes.
and Trump retweets this.
Now, to be fair, how different is that than
Now,
screaming
okay,
Black
no,
Power
no,
and throwing
no.
up a fist?
But you also have to be fair in that this was like a 2-minute clip of all of this. So,
But,
and this
yeah,
is only
don't
one part of
don't
this.
Right,
retweet that
right.
nonsense.
But
This is only one part
retweet
of this.
it.
I don't disagree.
So he
but I'm
tweeted
just
the whole
saying.
2-minute clip.
Oh
of
yes,
this
oh
happening
yes,
in the
oh
clip
yes,
is what
oh
you're
yeah,
saying.
oh
It
yeah,
was in the clip,
oh yeah.
yeah.
So in other words, he just tweets a clip of his supporters confronting protesters. He probably hasn't even actually watched the clip.
Or he
and
watched
there's
it
Or he
when
watched it with the
Yes,
volume
posted.
off,
Yeah,
because I've done
there's-
that.
and
Yeah,
there's one person doing this in it. Yeah.
yeah.
You've watched his
Right.
clips with the volume off. Does it make them better? Do you do like your own commentary?
Yeah, I mean, I actually try to do a Trump voice, which I'm not very good at. I'm better at the Clinton voice, but
Why
you
don't
know.
you do a Clinton voice over Trump?
Ooh,
We
that's
should do,
weird.
We should do those bad lip readings of Trump with Clinton voice. That'd be great.
No.
With Clinton voice, that'd be weird. There'd be a
Depends on what
lot
the
going on
definition of
there.
the word
Bad lip
is.
reading
It
of
is.
Trump with Clinton's voice.
Is
That's
there a
just
bad
lot.
lip reading of Trump? Like lately?
Ooh, I don't
there was-
know. I hope
I
there
remember
is.
there was of the debates
Oh, that's
when he was
fantastic.
debating Hillary.
I
There
just
was,
liked
but-
the one that either looked like them singing the duet or the one where they
Yes.
just photoshopped the
Yes.
accordion into his hands while he was speaking because that
Yes.
was good.
As of right now, I
That
actually
was
think
awesome.
Kanye West is the best option over the Republicans, the Democrats, the Libertarians, and the Constitution Party. Jeff, and that one was for you.
Sell me on this. Oh,
Okay.
Tell our listeners why you think
Okay.
that crazy Kanye in the birthday party is
Isn't that
the
amazing? Because
best vote.
number
I
one,
love it.
who hasn't
It
been
brings cake. Cake.
number one?
Birthday
The
party
cake.
will have
So,
cake.
Yes.
so is his motto going to be "Let them eat cake"? Like, is that?
Yes.
If it is,
Yes,
I'll
it
still vote for him.
will.
Uh,
It will.
who hasn't been to a bad who's been to a bad birthday party? I mean, have you? Like
Yeah,
seriously
I was at one on
bad?
Thursday.
Well, it was yours, and that's because your
So
family wasn't
Thursday,
celebrating.
That's when it was.
It's because
I
your
knew
family
that.
wasn't celebrating because you didn't tell them it was your birthday.
My kids thought it was a disappointing party.
It's because there was no cake. Kanye's
There's
Kanye's
still no
gonna bring the cake.
I
Ka-
still
But
haven't
did you
gotten
get a
cake.
pair of New Balance to mow the lawn in?
No, I actually didn't get
Oh.
anything yet.
Ka-
So,
Kanye's gonna bring the
Anyway.
cake.
oh my goodness.
And okay, successful business owner. Kanye's crazy successful. He came from a pretty rough past. He understands what it takes to crawl up the ladder. Kim doesn't quite understand that, of course. But yeah, like
She
You
knows
got
how to
that?
get popular.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. You also have. He's got the best testimony of all the candidates.
He also has best singing.
Yes, he does. He really does. Best singing
Are
voice.
you sure? Because you threw the
Yes.
Constitution Party in there, and I don't even know who the
Yes.
Constitution Party candidate is.
It's
this time
Daryl
around,
Castle
so-
again. It's
Is
Daryl.
it?
Yes, of course it is. It was last time I checked, and
I hadn't checked yet, to be honest.
the Constitution Party, and I realize not everyone, Jeff, is going to agree with me on this. The Constitution Party seems like it's trying to beckon in a human-run theocracy here in the U.S., which
You read a lot into what they say, but they do have some of those.
they have
elements
very
at times.
theocratic. They remind me of the. It reminds me of the Ted Cruz revival rally in Iowa that I went to, which terrified the fire out of me. When
Why would you go to that?
okay, so I went to a campaign rally for Ted Cruz because I wanted to see Ted Cruz. Like I wanted to see it because Jeff couldn't get to a rally, so I went. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. So Phil Robertson was there. I got a free duck call.
Nice.
Glenn Beck was there, standing up on stage,
Right?
preaching from his 19 or 1860 something or 1700s Bible, which immediately should make you go, yeah, should Glenn Beck be preaching? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he's at the risk of taking off fans. He's Mormon, so that
Yeah,
prevents-
theology is not good.
That provides some
So-
massive theological issues.
And
From our perspective.
Mormons tend to be very what I like to call Zionistic, like U.S. Zion.
I mean, that's the whole idea.
Right. The U.S. is the new Israel. And I got that out of Ted Cruz as well, and out of Representative King, Steve King from Iowa, who was there, who told us that if we didn't vote for Ted Cruz, we weren't following God's will. And I was like, okay.
Well,
Was that exact statement made, or is that what you got out of his statement?
No, it was he's the man that God has chosen to be the president of the United States, which obviously isn't true.
Which obviously was not a true statement.
Obviously
No.
not true.
Trump was the man.
It could be because as
That was
Don
chosen.
Lemon has finally enlightened us all, Jesus even admitted that he wasn't perfect when he was here on earth or something like that. So Don Lemon has provided some clarity for us.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. Again, theology. Theology matters. Theology matters, folks. Theology matters. And so where was I going to that? Anyways, the Constitution Party, it seems to me like Ted Cruz should probably just declare he's with the Constitution Party and run for them.
There's some elements of it that lean toward the very much, I don't know if I'd say the replacement theology, but there's a lot of elements that can probably trend toward treating almost America as a new Israel.
And that
obviously
that
is
scares
not
me a little bit.
true. You're right, it is a little red flaggy, but politically they're
They
one of the better
So
ones.
I'm suggesting that Kanye West may actually be a better replacement for the Constitution Party because of his conversion to faith. He's been outspoken in that. He doubled down a couple weeks ago on that, which I thought was very interesting. And
he's obviously still got some weird, because I believe one of his advisors or somebody he talked about, he's got a female pastor somewhere in the mix.
Well,
so,
right. It's like Donald Trump's Paul White, except this is some small town
the
preacher
difference
chick,
being,
I guess.
we
I don't know.
Donald Trump is just straight up faking it and using it to try to get certain sector votes.
But
no,
there is obvious potential fruit that Kanye may actually be converted and is working through, learning this stuff.
I mean, you've got Kanye West's mentor is what?
Listen,
or pastor is
you don't need to care about anything. All you need to know is that his speeches will be amazing.
They will. Can you imagine the sound bites?
They won't be any more coherent
every show.
than Joe Biden or
new intros
Donald
every
Trump's.
show.
No, they will.
Actually, I think they will.
He actually is a extremely good lyricist and man of letters, let's say.
Man of letters.
For heaven's sake,
He's
is
good at
actually
letters. That's
really-
Ben's analysis. That seems a little sketchy.
Our
letters and
our
words.
litmus test for president is he's good with letters. This is not idiocracy, guys.
Have you seen?
Speaking of which,
seen the candidates?
I want-
that is our level.
I want Kanye and I want Terry Crews.
Listen,
I want the two of them on a ticket.
Now,
I want the two of them on a ticket.
Crews,
I love it.
Can you imagine him standing up there in front of Congress with his pecs a popping?
Well, that's what I love. The Putin shirtless Putin on a horse has nothing on Terry Crews.
No, not at all.
Oh,
I'm
man,
telling you.
Could you imagine him during if he had to go somewhere and give a speech and then have an argument with somebody or whatever? He just
throw him.
Just at the very beginning of his speech, and or debate with somebody. Boom! That's all you need to know. Done. It's like the TV shuts off. Terry Crews wins. That's all it is, man.
Angela Merkel would whimper.
To be clear,
we could take over Russia.
Terry
Crews.
You're not joking here.
No, I'm not
joking. You are joking about taking over Russia. You're not joking.
I'm not. Let's take over Russia with Terry Crews.
Okay.
Just send Terry Crews over. Send Terry Crews over on an eagle on top of a bear.
Yes. Yes. I'm pretty sure that might fulfill part of Revelation, just so you know.
Okay. Then maybe we should. And you're worried about the Constitution Party right now.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Jeff. You're welcome.
Did not see where that was going.
Give him a musket because he only needs one shot.
He only needs one shot.
Yeah, that's right.
Take them all.
Call him Jack Sparrow. Okay, so but for the listeners out there, Mathis is serious.
Oh yeah, I'm
right
serious.
Now,
I'm absolutely serious.
We go vote today. He's voting Kanye West
I think he's the best
good
option.
Conscience, not as a joke.
Yep.
Not as a protest vote.
I think he has a better spiritual foundation than the other candidates, and he's pro-life. He is pro-liberty. He's anti-vax. Okay, look, I get that. I think that's a crazy viewpoint. I think anti-vax is a crazy viewpoint. But look, he's not going to force vaccinations on people. I'm okay with that. I'm great with that.
And he's not going to prevent it.
And that,
right?
no,
he's
no,
not
no,
going to prevent people's choice.
This is how they're
to
preventing
vaccinate.
Bill Gates from taking over the world and bringing on the apocalypse.
I'm trying to find here.
Oh man,
not Jeff. Tombstone sent us. I've got to back through all these Terry Crews.
We need Tombstone to just.
I got to back through all these
just
Terry
have
Crews memes
sound
here.
bites that he sends us of his opinion, so we can talk about these things and just insert.
that would
his
be
opinion.
good.
So on foreign policy, Kanye West. I haven't developed it yet. I'm focused on protecting America first with our great military. Let's focus on ourselves first. On abortion, I'm pro-life because I'm following the Bible.
Wait, you got to read some of the crazy stuff he says. Because that's the whole reason.
Okay, on his other priorities.
That's the reason that Tombstone sent these pictures.
Come
was
on,
for the
come on.
crazy stuff.
On his other priorities,
No.
he wants to clean up chemicals in our deodorant and in our toothpaste are chemicals that affect our ability to be of service to God. Okay, that's probably on the verge of crazy.
On the verge.
Guys, there's weird
Chemicals in your deodorant are preventing your service to God. I'm sorry, but if you don't wear deodorant, it's probably preventing your service to God.
There is no aluminum in my deodorant. That's all I'm
There's no aluminum
saying.
in my deodorant either.
Are you sure?
Listen.
Correct. Yes, it's aluminum free.
Yeah, and there's no
good
lead
for
in
you.
your water either. How did that go for 20 years?
Yeah, there isn't lead in my water. I don't live in Flint.
Jeff's like, screw the Flint people. On his campaign slogan, well, my second album is called Late Registration. I got a rap. The other thing is my campaign is Kanye West, yes. Not yep, not yeah, yes, yes, yes. When I'm president, let's also have some fun. Let's get past all the racist conversation. Let's empower the people with 40 acres and a mule. Let's give them some land. That's the plan.
So
I'm so upset.
I think that's his rap. I'm good with it. Let's do it.
There was not even a coherent sentence there.
Sure,
Well,
it was.
that's because he wasn't singing it.
That's a social policy. On
Give him 40 acres and a mule
on,
and say
on
yes, yes,
prayer
yes.
in schools. On prayer in schools. Now, I don't necessarily support. Yeah. Anyways, reinstate. I'll explain this after I get done reading this. Reinstate in God's state, in God's country, the fear and love of God in all schools and organizations, and you chill the fear and love of everything else. So that was the plan by the devil, to have our kids committing suicide at an all-time high, by removing God, to have murders in Chicago at an all-time high, because the human beings working for the devil removed God and prayer from the schools. That means more drugs, more murders, more suicide. I don't disagree with his sentiment there, that removing God from society, but the clarity there.
Responsibility.
I don't think it's the government's responsibility, number one, to educate our children, but number two is it shouldn't be the government's responsibility to put God in schools. Anyways. But yeah, so yeah, look, I admit he's got some crazy views, but who doesn't? I mean, Trump and Biden have just as crazy views.
I'm still waiting for Mexico to build a wall.
The key here is Kanye would actually believe and be committed to everything on his platform, whereas these other candidates are just signing up for whatever platform get them.
Because remember, it's the new party. It's the birthday party.
Because remember, Trump is now saying that he will sign an executive order on DACA for Dreamers.
Right.
Trump is going to make a pathway for Dreamers now, which, like, I think he's just trying to not get reelected. I'm not really sure.
On Kanye running for president, like anything else I've ever done in my life, I'm doing to win.
Here's the thing. He's obviously going to have like almost zero ballot access at this point.
As an independent, he has to secure signatures in order to get on the ballot for November.
So he's past the deadline in some states.
In some states, yes, like New Mexico, he's out. I think Arizona.
He has like zero ballot access at this point. So how much? He's obviously not going to win. How much of an effect do you think he's going to have?
He's getting two votes.
No.
He's getting two votes at least from us.
Both of you be quiet. He will win if everyone doesn't waste their votes on Trump and Biden.
Oh, keep going, Ozzy.
No, I don't. I don't even think
going.
That's true because of the ballot access issue. Like, you're right about wasting votes in the two-party system. Vote your conscience. Man, I cannot speak today. Vote your conscience.
It's okay. I'm entertained by that.
Yeah, vote your consciousness.
No, that's the problem. That's what we've been doing. It's been bad.
But he doesn't have the ballot access. He's not going to win. But what do you think which side would he have a greater toll? Would he have a greater toll on the Democrats or the Republicans? He's not going to win. That is a fact. Okay?
Jeff wants to waste his vote.
No. Jeff
Biden.
didn't say he's going to waste his vote.
You just did.
You can vote for who you want. Vote your conscience. Kanye's not going to win.
How do you know?
He doesn't have the ballot access to win.
I was told last week.
Impossible.
I was told last week.
Ballot.
I was told last week I have to vote for Trump because I'm actually voting for Pence because Pence is a good Christian.
Is that a valid?
No, it's not a valid.
You don't have to. Is that a valid line of reasoning for some people?
No. It's to pacify. It's a line of reasoning to pacify their conscience because they know that Trump is a terrible option and that he's an immoral option. Yes, I went there.
Again, vote your conscience.
Well, that's too bad. That's too bad. We just lost more listeners this week.
Uncle Joe.
Is it? Wait, what?
Is he more immoral than Uncle Joe?
I think they're both corrupt.
Are we looking at the lesser of two evils vote again?
Well, we're always looking at the lesser of two evils.
Because that is always where it's at. Is if you're not voting for such and such,
that's what everyone.
You're voting for the other.
The argument is voting against the other one. You know.
Like, both sides are progressive. I don't care what. I really don't like. Both sides are progressive. Both sides are absolutely progressive.
That's what's gotten us here. And if we go back, I mean, I don't know, pull the tapes. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was one of my things I was reasoning through last time when I thought the Republican Party had some good candidates. Obviously, you can't make a massive shift back to like the true classical liberalism we would like in one one year.
I mean,
but
that
we all
lady has
felt
to come before Congress.
we
Congress
all
first,
thought that there was a good
or horse.
we all thought there was some good candidates, so whether it was, I mean, even to be honest, in the grand scheme of things, even a Marco Rubio would have been a decent candidate when it was all said and done. Not that we would have really enjoyed it.
He had major issues, dude.
He did.
I couldn't have voted for him. Yeah.
But like, we had a Ted Cruz, we had a Rand Paul, we had some people in there that we could have voted for.
Well,
and it all whittled down to Trump. And we got the lesser of two evils nonsense again.
Well, see, and it's like, and that's what I refuse to do. Like, I refuse to compromise my belief. And everyone's like, oh, well, voting is compromising your belief. But when someone's got a glaring, like major glaring moral issue with them, why would I vote for them?
Okay.
Like, why would I?
Whoa. This was the guy that a week or so ago when I said I couldn't vote Libertarian.
Yeah, no, right.
The party ticket, no matter what the candidate says, the party platform is not pro-life. And you're telling me, well, don't be a one-issue voter.
Well, no.
I mean, that's a glaring moral issue.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
So to then turn around and say Trump, because I could say, oh, you say he's got a glaring moral issue, but he's in the economy, he's good on this, he's good on this, he's good on this. That was the argument people made.
No, you're right, and that is a good call. That is a good call on my argumentation. That is a very good call. Ozzy, sorry.
Kanye's gonna win.
So you're
Kanye's
right.
pro-life. I'm voting for Kanye.
Total.
No, no.
He's potentially the only pro-life candidate.
Kanye's gonna win because he's gonna be the only candidate left.
Because Ghislaine is going to come out with dirt on both Biden and
now that is a real possibility.
And you're gonna feel stupid for not being on the Kanye
Wouldn't that be
train.
crazy?
But right now, I don't think he can win.
But dude, seriously, wouldn't that be nuts?
Well, I think
apparently she has. I looked.
Yeah, you're reading the same article I literally have up right now.
About the two politicians.
Yeah.
That she filmed with two underage girls.
Yep. We're reading the same article.
Send me this link.
Hold on. We get it here.
Because
apparently there is two politicians that she has on video with two underage girls, but she hasn't released the names yet of who they are. So
this is just to make herself relevant.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not denying that. Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's gonna be.
You don't think she's got a slush fund? Like, you don't think she's got the information sitting there ready to go?
I wish I had a slushy. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
I said slush fund, but yeah, okay.
I know, but that's where I went with
it. Okay. Yeah, like, you don't think she's got all that data? I know she does. You aren't involved with all these high-ranking people and not have dirt on them. You don't.
How else do you stay safe?
That's what I mean. You have to have the data. You got to have the information. I'm convinced that she's got it.
Wouldn't that be crazy though? But I mean, like, if she makes it, I am so looking forward to seeing what bombshells she is going to drop on the U.S.
Oh, I know. I'm like, let's do it. Let's see this. Let's
take the dirt bags out. Let's take them out. Get rid of them.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to be a shady politician, and it's another thing to be doing what these people were doing. And I hope she fries for this too. But
let's
so here's a question.
Let her bring all the dirt out first.
Here's a question for you. Like, back to the lesser of two evils thing.
Sorry. Anyway.
It was Nevada? Yeah, it was Nevada Nevada voted for Dennis Hoff. The dead pimp.
He was on the ticket.
Yeah.
He died before the election.
Died before the election.
Was already on the ticket, and people still voted.
Like, Republicans would rather have a dead pimp running for office than a Marxist. Which in office,
a dead pimp can't do anything. So
right. Exactly. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Because here's the other theory. I don't know the exact, but I bet there was some gamesmanship there that since the candidate is dead, you vote the generic party candidate, and if they win, the party may get to fill in a different candidate.
Right.
So there could be,
especially if that party is the party the party is the party you support. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying. So there might be a lot of people who would not have voted for Dennis Hoff that voted for Dennis Hoff.
Right. Right.
to just get a generic Republican put in.
Gotcha. That's very interesting. So okay, so what happens? We're going down this weird rabbit hole here. What if another weird rabbit hole? What if Maxwell does have information on Biden and Trump?
What if
Do their VPs get it? Like if they're elected, do their VPs get it? Or does the party have to
Should the
pick
election
someone?
keep going forward?
I don't know.
Or does the part? Well, now you're talking about pausing the election?
No. I mean with those candidates. Like, is Trump impeached and
know.
Biden thrown out, and there's different candidates?
I don't know.
Like I don't know.
I don't know. How does that work?
Yeah, that
I would
and
guess my guess
Because
would
there's an
be-
impeachment train I could jump on.
My
No,
guess would be is that it
Tell me
just
about
goes- My guess would be is that it just goes down to whoever the VP is.
that's what I was
And
thinking.
so they get basically the party's support.
Right.
Next. So
I mean,
Like,
especially for the Democrats because the VP is who they're actually electing.
yeah.
Well, I think the other thing, the other thing is people need to realize. Like, I think even you kind of pointed out, Ozzy, the other day when you were like, "Oh, I learned that Jersey was a partially closed
right.
primary or whatever."
Yeah.
Right.
Primaries are purely a function of party. Parties don't have to have a primary at all. A party could just say, "This is our candidate. We're running. Vote for him or don't." So, like,
It doesn't
they have
sound like the
complete-
birthday party's having a primary.
exactly. So
They're
they have
having a party though.
they have
buddy.
complete control over their candidate selection. I think people sometimes lose track of the fact that parties are just vehicles to get parties don't exist in the creation of our government. You know what I'm saying? Parties are an
Right.
independent structure. So
Yep. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to go to break.
Everybody likes birthday parties.
Mm-hmm. We need to go to break. We'll be right back, and we will have our closing segment.
Our Army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory. It may get bigger, it may get a little bigger, it may not get bigger at all. We'll see what happens. But regardless of what happens, we're totally prepared.
Guys, this week.
Everyone's focused on the airports part of that speech, and I always miss the Army's armed the. Doesn't he say like ramparts rammed the ramparts? Like, what's the first thing he even says there?
Dude, I have no idea.
Like I literally think it's a made up word, and then ramparts, and then he talks about airports, and everyone's so focused on airports they miss the other word. So I just
Yeah, I know.
I try to listen and understand what the word is every time, and I can't catch it. So
The word is the word.
The word is the word. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate that. The Supreme Court this week declared that Donald Trump needs to show his taxes to the in a hearing in New York.
So what's the? This has been a battle for 4 years.
Right.
What's the theory here? The theory here is there's some massive corruption. In his
Right. He's
taxes.
hiding money and there's corruption in taxes. I just want to point out he's a multimillionaire, probably. He has money transferring like all over the place at all times. Buildings, businesses, whatever. He's been audited. You can't get away with crap, okay?
You can if you pay enough lawyers, but if you get audited enough times, they're going to find
They're
something.
going to find something, and they haven't found anything. So this is one of those things. Someone that rich pays people to take care of stuff. Like they're covering. They're not going to find anything. Okay, so I can tell you what's going to happen. Something is going to come out. We're going to find something in the tax returns that he gave money to something or didn't give money to something or, didn't support this, didn't support that, or did something here, did something there, bought a property he said he didn't buy or something. Some ridiculous line of reasoning there. We're going to end up with that. And then they're going to be like, we got you. And it's like, who cares? Okay, he's a rich guy who pays taxes. Or they're going to say, oh, he's a rich guy who didn't pay enough taxes. That's the other thing.
That's gonna be the preferred line. It's gonna be he used his power and his riches to avoid paying taxes, even though that's all what they're doing.
Oh, good grief. Good grief. Look at the tax returns of, oh, well, yeah. You know what I'm more curious of? I'm more curious than Trump's tax returns. I'm more curious of people who became millionaires while in office.
That is a big problem.
Those are the people I want to see the tax returns of. I want to see their tax returns. I want to see what their money's paying off and what lobbyists are sneaking money under the table to them. That's what I want to know. I want to know whose husbands and wives are getting jobs because their husband or wife happens to be an elected official in Washington, D.C. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Anyways, Trump's tax returns are unlikely to become public soon. Yeah, obviously.
Wait, unlikely to become
they will unlikely to become public because it is private matter within the court. Okay, so they're not going to be public unless someone makes them public.
He's got to release them,
okay,
but the court has to.
The court gets them, not the public. Okay, so the other thing that I have,
which is not what all the headlines.
Oh no, of course not, Jeff. Of course not, because now the public's going to be clamoring for them, and then someone's going to release them, and they're
going to get leaked for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think that if there was dirt on his tax returns, we wouldn't have seen it already? Think about the political environment we are in right now. Do you think someone in the IRS, some progressive in the IRS, who you think that someone wouldn't have released those, snuck those out? I can tell you they would have.
It's so hard.
They would have.
It's so hard to tell.
I'm convinced they would have already been leaked if there was something big and damning in them.
I think you're right with the analysis. There's no massive smoking gun there. It's simply, let's get it released so then we can twist and pick apart and throw up headlines and throw something against the wall till something sticks.
I mean, do you think he's filing a Form EZ? I mean, think about this. Most people in the U.S. have never seen the tax forms that he's going to file.
Well, he's never seen the tax.
Well, of course he hasn't, because he pays people.
He pays an accountant.
He pays people.
And gasp, he pays people to make sure they save him as much money as possible. The same thing you do when you go down to H&R Block and they say best refund guaranteed. They're trying to, when they ask, are you sure you don't use that portion of your home as a home office? Like, they're trying to save you money.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine if Trump went to H&R Block.
That'd be awesome.
I need help.
We're the president's
I downloaded your free e-file software and it's not working.
Yes. It's
He's
like
using TurboTax.
He did this like 3 weeks ago. He's like, I need help.
Hey, what's wrong with TurboTax? Yeah, he's like, yes, come fix it. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I don't think anything's gonna happen out of it. I think it's gonna be a big nothing.
Well, no, nothing will happen, but they'll make a huge deal out of it.
Correct.
Because all they want to do is smear his
well, right, and that's all what this is about now.
For the election.
Well, because if you get one or two headlines to catch fire, everyone believes them, and the time
doesn't matter how true it is.
Refute them with the facts, all this stuff. No one ever turns around and listens to the facts, and both sides do it.
Oh yeah,
but the left is extremely efficient at firing off. I mean, how many people out there right now probably believe that hydroxychloroquine, like, people drink fish tank cleaner and it kills people and it's evil, and Trump has some weird stake in a company where he's going to make money if it gets used, and then like
turns out you only drink it when you're trying to kill your husband.
Yeah, and that months later CNN actually runs a headline that says it did help people.
Isn't that so funny?
And is it the cure all that if we all just take hydroxychloroquine, COVID-19 will go away?
Okay. What's this thing I see from Mark Levine this morning?
Oh,
about
my goodness.
Obama taking hydrochloroquine?
Oh, I know. I wake up, I grab look out the window and see
I had
part
to
of a
bring
tree
that
fell
up.
down
You
in my
can't bring
backyard
that
last
up.
night. Like, so then I grabbed my phone and I just start scrolling through Facebook because I'm disappointed that this tree fell down in my backyard last night.
So
I
he
gotta
was
clean it
he was
up.
seeking affirmation
So-
from Facebook.
so
Did you
I
hear
was
what he
just
just
like,
said?
I'm gonna. So I was like, I'm just gonna ignore this and go out on social media and see what else is going on. And I start scrolling.
Seems
I start
healthy.
the death scroll.
Seems healthy.
I was prepping for the show. That's what I should
Oh
say.
yes,
Start doing my
your prep,
promotion-
your
show prep.
show prep,
Yeah,
show
you
prep.
should have started
Exactly.
with that instead of the
Yeah.
other.
Sounds much better.
And I'm scrolling through, and there's this Mark Levin post, and like, think what you will of Levin, he's a little much for me. I feel like at least he used to be kind of decent,
I think constitutionally he's
logical,
solid,
logical, and factual.
but he gets on these
but-
screaming raves that just
and that's why he's too much for me. But I thought there was some logic there, but no, I see this post where it's just a pill bottle. It's a hand holding a pill bottle, a white hand holding a pill bottle, mind you. And
what are you
it's-
saying?
Well, I'm saying
What are
it's
you
not
implying?
Barack Obama's hand, so I don't know
Oh.
who got this pill bottle and is holding it.
Hmm.
And it's supposedly a pill bottle with a prescription on it for Barack Obama, and you only see part of it, but it says something about starting about 2 days, arrival in area, malaria, take one every day, 7 days out, and it's supposedly a hydroxychloroquine prescription, like to help prevent malaria, obviously, which is what the drug is for, right? It's for malaria.
Right,
And it says,
right.
and all it says, Levin's comment is Obama's hydroxychloroquine from 2008.
Okay, so he visited Africa.
A, why does this random person have it in the picture if it's real, which makes me think it's not real, because why is there a
Right,
random
right.
picture of it? And then B, so he was taking a medicine for an approved use while traveling the world. Who
I figured it out.
cares?
Figured it out.
Yes,
Figured it
Ozzy.
out.
Keep
Here's
going.
what you're missing. Back in 2007 is actually when the coronavirus was released. It has a gestation period
Oh,
of months. It was actually released in
Oh,
Africa. It has
wow.
a gestation period of months and years. It starts off slow and it can only infect one or two people. Then it morphs. And so by the time Obama went in 2008 to wherever he traveled, I'm assuming it's Africa because that's usually where you get malaria medicine, correct? Is when you go traveling to Africa.
Hmm.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but we'll go with it as gospel truth.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so he travels to Africa knowing, not because of malaria, but that he needed hydrochloroquine, and they've been keeping it from us for the past 12 years as
Hmm.
the coronavirus has grown and grown and grown. Eventually, it went to China, where because of certain circumstances that I'm not going to say, because I'm not racist and I don't want to, and I am what's the term where I'm
You're being culturally sensitive.
sure, we'll go
Okay.
with that. And so where it started to spread in China and then eventually came over across the United States. So 12 years after it, it has become highly contagious, and only Obama knew that hydrochloroquine worked. And somehow Trump got a hold of this, and they were like, "Oh no, we don't want to break the conspiracy and make
This is an
make
amazing,
Obama
amazing.
turn out to be the person to blame." So they discounted all of the research and the knowledge that hydrochloroquine was actually the thing that could cure the coronavirus.
Jeff, you know those little foil bags that you like put stuff in and stick it in
like
the oven?
pre-made pockets.
Yeah. I need just a pack of those, so whenever Ozzy goes off on one of these things, I can just pull it out and stick it on.
Yeah.
Pre-made hat. It's
I
good.
tuned
You're
them out after a while, unfortunately, just because I was trying to
And
figure
you know
out
what?
the context of this
Well, I'm
Levin
not-
post was.
Listen, I am not done.
Oh,
Oh goodness!
oh
Okay.
yeah.
Tune back out.
Prove me wrong.
No. Change my mind.
Changed my mind. Guys, more conspiracy in the news. This past week, July 8th, it was the 73rd anniversary of the Roswell incident.
That was in July?
It was July 8th, 1947 was when the press release was officially released.
Oh.
When they claimed they had found a
Obviously a weather balloon.
right, obviously a weather balloon, couldn't be anything else.
A weather balloon with a boy riding in it.
Right. So many weird things with this story. Yeah.
Did it have hydrochloroquine in it?
Well, that was the cure.
We might be able to get the Kennedys
shipment.
involved with this
It
conspiracy.
was
Yes.
the first shipment of hydroxychloroquine that we got from an alien race to help protect us.
Because they knew 2020 was coming.
Yes.
And they
And the elites
misjumped
held
in their
and the
time
elites
ship.
held on to it. Yes.
They misjumped in their time ship.
Who was president at that time? Was it Johnson?
Wait, when was it?
1947?
I have no clue.
You said that like you were gonna know.
It's post World War II.
Yeah, so it would have been after no, it wouldn't be Johnson, it would have been Truman, yeah.
Truman.
Yeah.
Truman. Yeah. Because Johnson was after Kennedy. So
Yeah,
because
that's,
we had
not even close to 40s.
we had Truman, then we had man, who was it after Truman?
Hoover.
Hoover, that's right. That's right, because we had the lovely 50s. What's that?
Sorry.
No, it was Roosevelt. Roosevelt was president during the war, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ozzy's going the wrong
Yeah, you're going the wrong way.
Oh, dang
It
it.
went Roosevelt, Taft.
And Wilson, Hardy, Coolidge.
No. You're going backwards. Dude, stop going backwards.
again.
Oh my goodness. Now you're
Do you
confusing me.
memorize the presidents in reverse order?
No. I actually do know all the presidents.
It's the Animaniac song.
I can't
He's
know.
gonna
listen
sing
to
the
it
I
Animaniac
backwards.
song.
No,
that's
I
the
actually I don't
States.
know it
Oh.
from the Animaniac song.
Oh, okay.
But I do know the presidents in order.
I
I just can't start from the middle.
could if I started from the beginning. I think I could get them.
Yeah. Do
guys.
Do it. Do it.
No,
I'm
not
just gonna be
today.
honest. I don't think I could.
I can't live on the show. There's too much pressure. You two staring at me through the cameras. Guys, another story not from Florida this week. Oregon man driving stolen car crashes into woman driving another stolen car.
No, not an Oregon man.
An Oregon man.
An origami man?
A police chase in Oregon ended. Oregon, whoever in the
Wait,
O state,
He had a gun. What?
like Oregon. Just
Oregon, where the wind
Oregon.
comes sweeping down the plain. No.
Oh.
yes. In that state in the upper northwest.
Does anybody even know what the upper northwest of Oregon looks like?
Upper northwest of the
Like
U.S.
It's the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, the Pacific
it
Northwest.
rains a lot and there's mountains.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's all there is.
And
Apparently, there's roads with people stealing cars.
apparently
police-
they're not too good at it.
Police
So were
chase
either
ended.
of them involved in a police chase when they crashed?
Yes,
into
police
the
chase
other car?
ended when a driver was fleeing authorities in a stolen car, and he crashed into a woman driving another stolen car.
Was she also
Were they
being
both?
chased?
Yes, I need to know this.
Two
This is
police
what
chases
we're diving
crashing
into.
each other.
Coming into each other.
Which would be so
New
amazing.
tactic. Forget spike strips. We just heard the chases toward each other and then just run them into each
So
other.
this
Yes.
is downtown
It only works
Newburgh,
in
Oregon. Downtown
Newburgh.
Downtown
Is that right?
Newburgh.
In other
How big
words,
is Newburgh?
in other words, the local cop and his deputy.
We're chasing people that stole the other two cars in town.
Probably like they're like, Mars stole a car again.
Newburgh might actually be huge.
Like
It
Marge
is
Girl.
actually it's like a big city, like a half hour outside of Portland.
The city, as of the 2010 census, the city population was 22,110, making it the second most populous city in the country.
Wait,
And
what?
Ozzy's talking about it like it's redneckville. It's the second biggest city in the country.
In the county. It can't be in the
I read it wrong.
country.
County. Never
Oh
mind.
my goodness.
Never mind. Read it wrong.
It's got 22,000. It's the second largest
Yep.
city in the country.
You know the
It's
thing is,
right
I
behind.
read it as 22,000, but I was in my mind, I was reading it as a bigger number. I even said
it's
22,000.
It's
but
like-
I was
behind New York
I've
City.
never heard of Newburgh, but it's the
It's right
second largest city in the country. Are you sure that tree didn't fall on you?
It's right behind mine. New
Yikes.
York's 8 million. The
Read
next
that
highest
wrong.
is 22,000. There's a big
I read
jump.
that wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Yikes. Like I didn't even I was so focused on the phrase about largest that I just like skipped the number in my mind and was just trying
I
to
thought
get
he
to the
was going
sentence.
for is the second largest city in Oregon.
Maybe more humorous than the actual story.
Listen,
It is. Our
Okay,
terrible
okay.
reporting.
Now, these were cars. Were these cars being
Hey,
pulled by a
hey,
mule?
this
and
is a
did-
5.9 square mile city. Come on now.
As if that means anything to anyone.
So if you get
This is
chased,
huge.
if you get chased in Oregon and caught, does that mean that you go to jail and then you potentially die from dysentery?
Oh,
Yeah, it's actually funny.
That is funny.
Yeah, it's not.
Read that wrong.
Weird. I did not
Hey,
know.
do you want to know their average precipitation though?
No.
For the year, it's 39.9 inches. Got that number right.
And that's the second most precipitated city in the country.
Oh,
I can't do stuff on the fly while you guys are talking. I'm laughing.
Sorry.
Man.
I got nothing else, guys.
So Truman, yeah.
I got nothing else. So Truman, Kanye West, next president of the United States. www.thefrontporchshow.com. You can check us out on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Google Podcasts, anywhere where you like to get your online content. We are there, including YouTube, where you can look at our pretty faces and see our antics and see our Gandalfs dancing on the screen.
That sound.
We did not make it weird.
Your little gray Gandalf dancing on the screen.